All right, is everyone ready? The AC is on because even though it's kind of cold, it's humid outside, I think. So if you can't hear, come closer, okay? So you guys can hear us. So we're going to get started. I want to say thank you guys for coming. How many of this is your first training ever? Because I see a lot of new faces. Holy crap. A lot of you. That's so amazing. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Sandy Lurie. This is our monthly training we do the first Sunday of every month unless otherwise stated. So thank you guys for coming. We have a guest speaker in the house. Where'd she go? Is she hiding?
To the background.
Still? Okay.
Oh yeah, she just went, yeah.
We've got my good friend Elizabeth Curran. I always want to say the other name, but it's just changed now. She's a triple diamond with the company. She lives up in Michigan, and she came down from Michigan to pour into you guys. So she's going to end out the day, and she's got a really packed full of like amazing information to give you guys all about getting your mind right and going forward into May and for the rest of the year to really knock out the goals that you're setting for yourself. With that being said, how many of you realize that today's May 1st? How many of you have already printed your steps to success and you are ready to go for the month? Okay, for those of you who don't, go home and print them, okay? How many of you are thinking about your plans and your goals that you want to accomplish for the month of May? How many of you have actually written them down? Okay, for those of you who haven't written them down yet, write them down, because once you write them down, they become like embedded in your head, and then you have to complete them because you're writing it down. You'll be a little more successful with that, okay? We are actually going to talk about the steps to success to get started because I feel like if I didn't have that paper physically printed out every single month, I would not succeed. I feel that I would forget my path. I feel like I would forget where I was in those goals. And so we're going to talk about those 3 steps to success and how you utilize them, okay? So how many of you, this is your, you're going in, like you just joined, like literally just joined the business and you're like in your first full month. Okay. Well, when your step 1 in the steps to success was when you first joined, right? How many of you joined the business? Every hand should seriously like go up high, right? Y'all joined. There's no guests here, right? Do we have guests? I didn't think this was all like training for you guys. Okay. So how many of you joined the party? Okay. So your first month you're joining the party was getting your business builder kit. Everyone did that, right? Everyone did that. Okay. So now it is May 1st. It is a new month. So in order for you to complete step 1, does anyone know what is required to check off step 1?
Run your ADBB auto ship?
Yes. ADBB auto ship. So what you want to do is you want to go home today and you want to pull up your eSuite and you want to go into your auto ship and you want to make sure that the products that are in your shopping cart are the products that you need this month to be successful with either having wraps that you're going to put on people or products that you're going to use yourself, because we want to be a walking advertisement, right? We want to be a product of our product. And make sure that your shopping cart says at least 80. If it is 79, you won't get paid. I mean, it says on paper 80. So make sure that you go home, just double check. We had a couple people last month miss it because they were below 80. I don't want anyone to jeopardize getting paid. So that's like your number 1 priority today. Go home, check your eSuite. Check to make sure that your shopping cart on your auto ship says 80 or more. But don't go all crazy on me, okay? Don't be putting $200 worth of product in there. It's not necessary. That's the great thing about our company is we don't have to carry inventory. Who loves the fact that you don't have to carry tons of inventory and have all that stock and money out of pocket? How many of you love the idea that $80 a month is all you need to run $1 million business? Right? How many of you love that the ADBB auto ship that you run every month is enough for you to use those products yourself to increase your overall health and wellness, and you get to make money off of that? Right, I do too. So make sure that step 1 every month is your auto ship. You want to be running a successful business, okay? So make sure that you check that today. And when you print this every month, and you guys can find this in your eSuite documents. So if you don't know where to find it, it's in documents, okay? So find it in there. Every month, because I'm a visual person. Is anyone else visual? Like me? I'm super visual. So I always print this, and I always write what I ordered. I always write what I ordered. So I'll write on there a box of wraps, greens, and relief, because those are products that I use, okay? And I'll check it off as soon as it's set up to run. My rule of thumb for you guys, and kind of like a peace of mind thing, as an It Works distributor, 80 BB auto ship by the 25th of the month, right? 25th is the very, 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 very last day that your monthly auto ship can run in order to be commission qualified. I highly suggest that if you have signed anybody last month on the 26th through the 30th, that you get on the phone with them, because their auto ship's going to process on the 25th if something happens, because we know life happens, right? There's an unexpected bill that comes up. There's all the banks are switching to chips, right? Did I not stress the chips last month and how it affected our downlines, because all of those cards are no longer working on eSuite because of the chips? Okay, we've got to make sure that we're talking to everyone. So if you've got a brand new distributor that just came in anywhere from the 26th to the 30th, get on the phone with them today and have them move their auto ship anywhere between the 17th and the 20th. That gives them time for their commission checks to come through, commission checks to hit their bank, and then let their commissions pay for auto ships, okay? That way, in the event that the auto ship does decline because of an emergency, an unexpected bill, maybe payday, or the chip in the card, there's a number of reasons it might not process. We've got time to get it re-ran so that they don't miss getting paid. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so let's be great leaders to our downlines, and let's coach them to have the right, their business set up the right way, okay? Step 2, everyone works on step 2 every single month. I love step 2 of the steps to success. This is building my residual income. Steps to success is probably one of the most important steps next to step 1 in my personal opinion. It's my opinion. Only because every time we are bringing in a new customer, we are changing another person's life. We are changing in someone else's health and their wellness. We are getting rewarded for that with getting back rewards. So every single month, every time you personally sign 2 new customers, you get a wrap reward. That means instead of paying $60 for a box of wraps, you can get a full box of wraps or facials for only $25. You're going to sell those individual wraps for $25 a piece. You're making a $75 profit per 2 customers, okay? So your first 30 days, it is so stinking important to get these first 4 customers. How many of you are in your first 30 days? Like, you haven't even hit the raise them high, look around so we can all see. Okay, so the 3 of you that are in the first 30 days, the first 30 days is so crucial for you, okay? But you have 30 days, but do not utilize those 30 days. You are going to run into some hiccups if you utilize the full 30 days. I want you to knock out your first 4 customers before your first 10 days are up. And the reason why you want to knock it out early is because you're going to get your first bonus. Your first 30 days, your first 4 customers that go in the system. And as long as those first 4 customers have different addresses, you are going to get your first bonus. It's $120 in free product credit. All of you that, I will give you a little secret. There is a rumor that it is going away, that the 120 bonus will disappear and it's not going to be offered anymore. So those of you that are grandfathered in, so the 3 of you that are brand new, I highly recommend getting those 4 customers in now and getting that bonus. There is something else that's going to be coming out, so make sure you guys plug into the corporate call tonight, okay? But the 120 is so important because if you are anything like me, when I first got started, I couldn't afford this business. I didn't have the money to run this business. So that 120 was really crucial. It gave me $120 to get 2 boxes of wraps for free. So that was 8 wraps that I had to sell. That was $200 cash I had in my pocket. You better believe I used that cash to run my business. I didn't use it to go out to eat. I didn't use it to go get my nails done. I didn't use it to go get coffee. I didn't use it to go on a date. I use it to run my business. So if money is tight for you, be smart with how you're growing and take that wrap cash to plug and pour back into your business, okay? So the first 30 days, first 4 customers, $120 bonus to get 2 boxes of wraps, or you can get any product that you want. We have 32 of them to choose from, okay? And then for every 2 customers, like we said, you get the wrap reward. So those of you that are past your first 30 days, step 2 is super important too, because every time we bring in a new customer, we're getting at least 3 months worth of residual income, right? Because they're ordering for at least 3 months in a row. Be a great leader, because you are a leader to customers just as you are a leader to distributors. And I want you guys to be very aware of that. Sometimes people think that they're a leader just because they have a distributor under them. No, the minute you start signing customers, you are a leader. So be a great one. Be an amazing one. Okay, lead them by example. Make sure that you are staying in contact with the customers that you are signing up, because they're going to be your next distributor, and you want them to want to be with you. You don't want them to choose somebody else that might say, hey, have you ever heard of the business opportunity? No, I've never been told about this. Because how many of you have lost a customer to a different distributor because somebody else has talked to them? I'll admit it. Because customers can sign up as a distributor with anyone they want. They don't have to choose you. So be a great leader. So every month that you're signing loyal customers, make sure that you're following up with them. Make sure that you're talking to them, because they are going to be your future rock stars. They are going to continue to grow your business and move you on to those next ranks in this company. Make sure that you're checking with them 2 weeks after they have their products. Make sure that they're using them right. How many of you have talked to customers and found out that they're taking thermal fit and fat fighters backwards?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Make sure that, how many of you have ever called somebody and they didn't open the wrap? They put the little square on their belly. It's happened, yes. Make sure, Brad, did you open the wrap all the way today?
Yes, I did.
You did, okay. He wrapped for the
I
first
followed the
time.
instructions.
You actually read the instructions?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people don't. A great leader, okay? Call your customers, check in with them. And if something's not working for them, it's better to find out early on than to have them keep having the auto ship run and keep getting that product that's not working for them, and then they start making returns, and then they're going to say this company sucks, this company doesn't work, these products don't work, because you're not being a great leader to them. Make sure that you're finding out if the product's working right for them. If they're wrapping and they're not quite seeing the results that they want, you need to find that out ahead of time so that you can suggest something else. Maybe we need to get a nice detox going. We've got a couple detox products, the cleanse, the greens. Make sure that you are educating them on how these products work. Make suggestions. They have 3 months to find what works best for them. And if you are being a great leader to them, they're going to stay on past 3 months. They're going to go into their 6th month and get their $50 bonus. They're going to stay into the 1 year and get $150. Before we know it, they're going to have $300 worth of reward points. You're going to call them and say, you've been in love with these products for 2 years. You have enough in product credit to start your business with tons of inventory for free to make tons of cash right out of the gate. How many of you would love to have a customer that you can call and do that and have them jump in and be so in love with the products and know that you are already a great leader to them as a customer? You're going to be a great leader and show them how to be a great distributor themselves. Okay, it starts from the minute they become a customer. So step 2 is so important, you guys. Some people think that step 3 is the most important. Let's build these structures. Let's get these boxes. Let's put names in boxes. That's BS, you guys, because you've got to be a great leader, and being a great leader starts when you start signing customers. Step 3 is going Ruby. There's been no announcements made yet. So I'm going to talk about this one without bonus. Okay, I'm going to explain it 2 different ways. So for those of you that signed up and you are locked in for your Ruby bonus, how many of you are in the running for a Ruby bonus right now? Brad, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you that signed up and joined our It Works family, you have 2 full calendar months in order to attain that Ruby ranking to get your bonus. Now, some of you who were locked in it when it was 1,000, some of you got it when it was 500. The key is to find those right people that either want to make a little money, get some free product, have fun, friendship, freedom, right? Isn't that what It Works is all about? Finding those right people to fill those spots, because everyone's going to want to be a part of your team for a different reason. Okay? Talk to them. Don't convince or talk anyone into being a part of your team, because the minute you do that, it's the minute they're going to be the first to quit. So when you are building your business, I just signed a young lady last night, Missy Murphy. I welcomed her into our team page. I've been talking to her for 3 years. It took us 3 years for her to trust me, be excited, and have a sense of urgency for herself. She texted me and said, I have to make $500. It's not an option. I'm ready to join your team. Okay, so don't force people or talk them into being a part of your team. People will follow you. People will want to be a part of you. They're going to buy into you first before they buy into It Works. So again, be a great leader, lead by example, and have fun, because people are going to be drawn to that. So step 3 is go Ruby. You want to go Ruby because Ruby is the road to diamond, which is what we're going to talk about. Rubies make on average $300 to $500 a month. Who would like an extra $300 to $500 a month? Who started this simply because they wanted $300 to $500 a month? Okay, I did. I needed $300 a month. So don't assume that people want to come in and make $10,000 a month. Don't point to Ambassador Diamond and say, you could go here, because those numbers are so far out that it's going to scare them away, and they're going to think there's so much pressure to that they're not even going to want to join, and they won't know part of it. But if you say, how would an extra $300 do? That people can relate to. That's a Ruby. Okay? 3 people to join your team. You're going to be a what? Great leader. Right? It's going to be a common theme you're going to be talking about a lot in the coming months. You must be a great leader. You want to assign 3 people to be on your team, and you're going to teach them to be a great leader. And at least one of them is going to start building their own team, and that is the setup for a Ruby. Okay? The steps to success we try to repeat every single month. We try to complete every single month. Step 1 is, come on, it's not 8 a.m. What time? Wait, step 1. Join the party. Join the party, ADBV. What's step 2? And step 3? And 3 distributors. So every month you try to complete that. The one thing that I really want to set home, like really send home with you guys, if you don't complete it, don't worry about it. What you need to ask yourself is, am I doing the steps? Am I doing the activity? Am I doing what I need to do so that eventually that is going to be filled out? That's what you need to ask yourself. Personally, last month, I did get 4 customers. I got 2 of my 3 distributors. Do I feel like a failure? No. Would I like to fill out all of that? Yes. I've gone through dry spells where I went 6 months without a customer or a distributor. But I didn't quit. I didn't feel like a failure. I knew that I was doing the activity. I knew that I was putting myself out there. I knew that I was leading. And eventually, my business started to explode again, and people started wanting to be a part of this. So don't ever just get discouraged, okay? Ruby is how you guys are going to get to Diamond. If you want to get to Diamond. Not everyone wants to get to Diamond. But if you do, this is how you're going to make it happen. How many Rubies do we have in the room right now? Quite a few. Dana, you just went Ruby and got your $1,000 bonus. You guys, she just earned that $1,000 Ruby bonus last month. So let's give her a round of applause. Quite an accomplishment. Okay, so Dana knows how to get to Ruby now. She did it. All of you Rubies, you know how to get to Ruby, right? We already talked about it. Ruby is you finding 3 people that want to be a part of your team, that want to make a little money, they want to get free product, they want to change their lives, they want to go on vacation, they want money in savings, they just want to be a part of something, maybe they just want to make friends. Okay? 3 people, 3 distributors. 3. 1, 2, 3. You're going to be a great leader, and you're going to teach them the steps to success. You're going to teach them, make sure your auto ship's on. You're going to teach them and show them how to share and talk to people so that they can get the orders and the volume that they need to be great leaders for their customers. Because if you do that, your new distributors are going to start bringing in the orders, which means the volume is going to start coming in. And in order for you to promote, you got to have volume underneath you, correct? You have 3 distributors on this front line. 2 of them have to be at 400 in order volume. The order volume comes from that distributor's personal monthly auto ship. Whatever they are ordering goes towards that 400. Then you're going to coach them how to do step 2 and go out there and get those new customers. Whatever their customers are ordering, that order volume goes towards their 400. If they happen to have 1 or 2 or 10 distributors underneath them, whatever those people are ordering to, whatever those orders are going towards that 400 volume. Does everyone understand that part? It is so important to make sure that people are working the steps to success, because the steps to success is going to fill those order volume. Then you've taught someone so well that they've gone out and they started to grow their own business, and they've signed their own 2 distributors. Because you've been such a great leader and taught them how to use the steps to success to their advantage, your distributor who just signed her first 2 is doing the same thing. She's teaching those 2 new people how to use the steps to success. Their auto ships are running, so their order volume is already starting to go up because of their order ran. They're out there using the steps to success. They're doing step 2. They're signing loyal customers. So now their order volume is going up even further. Because we are showing people how to use the steps to success, we are leading by example. We are being great leaders. You just had somebody promote, or you just went Ruby because you taught 3 people how to be great leaders. to their customers and their distributors. And just happens to be one of them started to grow her own team. She is being a great leader. She's teaching these people how to be great leaders to customers and bringing in customers. So because of that, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of your 5 distributors are at 400 in volume. This person that's in the green box, you've taught them well. They're ADBB AutoShip brand, so they get to promote to executive. And whoever signed you taught you well. You ran your AutoShip, you get to promote to Ruby. It all works together and it all goes right back to this. This helps you get this. Who's at Emerald in the room? Okay, in order for you to go Emerald, you had to show 2 of your people how to go Ruby. You had to coach and lead 2 people to go Ruby. It only takes 2 Rubies on your team to go Emerald. And an Emerald makes how much a month on average? Does anyone know? Anybody know? About $1,100–$1,200 a month. Okay? So if you can teach somebody well to follow the steps to success, and if you've got 2 people, so when Stephanie went Emerald, she taught this person to go Ruby, she coached that person to go Ruby, and she went Emerald, and she just happened to go Emerald when there was a $2,000 bonus on the line. So she earned a $2,000 bonus for going Emerald because she was a great leader and she coached 2 people how to go to Ruby and get $300 to $500 a month. If you help others hit their goals, you're going to automatically do it by default. Now Diamond, you want to go to Diamond? How many rubies does it take to go Diamond? How many diamonds are in the room right now? Mike, how many rubies did you need on your team to go Diamond?
3.
3. 3 rubies. 3 rubies to get to Diamond. Do you guys think you can coach 3 people to Ruby to get to Diamond? How much does a Diamond make on average every month?
2,000.
Thank you back there, Miss Diamond in the back. 2,000 on average. You can make about $2,000 a month for helping 3 people go Ruby. 3 people that want to make $300 to $500 a month. How many people in this room wanted to go and join this business to make $300 to $500 a month? How many diamonds? Keep your hands up. Look around the room. How many diamonds do you think that could make? Okay. Stop worrying about what that diamond chart looks like. You need to help and be a great leader and teach people how to get to Ruby. Teach 3 people to do it. Now I'm going to go into something I don't normally do, and I did this in New York yesterday, and they loved it. So we're going to do this, okay? Stephanie, come here for a second. You want to get to Diamond. Diamond is so important because our CEO, Mark Pentecost, said, did you turn the air down? Because I'm kind of close. Did you turn it so it like wasn't running?
I turned it down there, but
Fabulous.
it's
Okay.
running up here.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Are you calling?
I'm always calling.
Okay, so our CEO, Mark Pentecost, says that once you get to Diamond, Diamond gives you basically the license to print money. Who wouldn't love print money? Remember, Brad, I was talking like people sit back and they're just waiting for like trees to pop up in their backyard. Okay, here's your tree. Here's your money tree. You ready? We're about to blow their minds. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, we're about to blow your minds. I'm going to show you how you can have these trees planted in your yard that just sprinkle money down on you. Okay, so Steph, you're working towards Diamond. So you're coaching 3 people on your team to get to Ruby. That's the key, right? Let's just say it happened, because it's going to. She's going to be a Diamond. You went Diamond. You're a Diamond. She's a Diamond. Let's celebrate it. Are you crying already? Laughing. Tears come later. Okay, now how? I'm about to rain money down on you. Hold on. All right, so you're a Diamond. Okay, that's awesome. You are a Diamond making $2,000 on the average a month. Trish joins your team now. Trish knows where I'm going with this, don't you? Maybe everyone's in the dark. Do you know where I'm going with this, Elizabeth? You know where I'm going with this.
Money trees.
Money trees. Okay, so you are a Diamond on our team. You are one of my Diamond leaders, and you signed Trish. Okay, Trish, you just joined her team. You are going to teach her the steps to success, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to make sure. Whoa, we broke it. Didn't this happen last month? I can't. I don't even have time for that right now. Okay, they can't see it at home anyways. So you signed Trish. Trish, you're going to be a great leader to her, and you're going to teach her the steps to success. you're gonna get your first 2 customers in the computer right out of the gate. You get a $100 bonus because you sponsored her, you showed her how to get those first 2 customers. Anytime you personally enroll a distributor, you get a $100 bonus. How cool is that? Forever. So let's just say she's a diamond or an executive or a ruby, I don't care, and she signs all of you. And she leads you well, and you all get your first 2 customers. She's getting $100 for each and every one of you. Forever, okay? Like each time she signs somebody new. Forever, you all do. Each and every one of you who have signed a distributor and you've led them well, and they've gotten their first 2 customers, you have received a $100 bonus. How many of you have earned $100 bonuses for leading well? Congratulations. Good for you. But now she's a diamond, okay? So you got your $100 bonus. She also gets $80 because she's a diamond. And she signed her because she's a diamond. Trisha, she got $100 and you got an $80. So you made $180 off of Trisha. Very nice, right? Okay, you signed Katie. Katie, you led her well. You got your first 2 customers. What do you get?
$100.
And you're a diamond, so what else do you get?
$80.
She made $180 on 2 people, right? So what's that, 360? Did I do my math quick? Back to sleep, am I right? Okay. All right, so you signed these 2 awesome girls, right? It takes 2 people to join your team to completely change the whole dynamics of your business, all right? Can you step here, like over here for a second, Trish, for me? Just so visual, I'm visual, right? Just stand right here in front of this chair over here. Katie, just stand right here. Face them. Face the crowd. All right, Steph signed Trish, Katie, as a diamond, right? Trisha, she coached you well. Thank you, Tina. She coached you well. You went out and you signed all these people and they all joined your team, right? Mm-hmm. You've coached them well. They've all gotten their first 2 customers. What have you gotten for each person?
$100.
So 100, 100, 100, 100, right? So you've received $100. Mm-hmm. Katie, you signed this side of the room. Did you coach them well? What did you get? $100 each. Awesome. What did she do? Nothing.
She coached you.
She signed you and coached you well, Katie. And she signed you and coached you well. She's a diamond. You both are signed up after she went diamond. This whole room, she's received $80 on each and every one of you. And she didn't sign you.
Money tree.
There's your money tree.
Oh, wow.
So Katie, or Stephanie, you've received 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, and 40. There's baby back there. 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. Okay? Because you're a diamond and you signed these 2 girls, you made $80 off of every person in this room. Diamond, there's your money tree. There's that tree you want, but you have to lead right. You have to lead well. You have to lead by example. Okay? Double diamond, come here. So, hold on. See, you don't have to be smart and remember everything. I have to ask. Okay, well, I needed to know. I know, like, I always forget. I just see the money tree. I just see the money trees pop up. Okay. All right, so rubies are, we might not have PowerPoint. We'll just roll with it. Okay, so we have now diamond, right? We have more rubies popping up. How many rubies does it take to get to double diamond? Because you're a double diamond now. 5 rubies on her team took her to double diamond. What's a double diamond make on average? A month.
A month?
What is it?
$6,000.
$6,000. So for her to lead well and coach 5 people to Ruby, she's going to make on average $6,000 a month. Who can coach 5 people to Ruby? How many of you can lead well?
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Stephanie, come. Okay, so you remember the diamond? What did she get when she signed somebody and then that person just went rogue and signed everyone?
80.
80's all over the place, right? So she helped 5 people go Ruby. She's a double diamond. So now, Katie, you joined her team. She's a double. Stand back up again. So you coached her well. She got 2 loyals. What did you get?
100.
No, 100.
Oh, sorry.
I need to pay attention.
No, I'm sorry. I was
You
thinking
coached her
all
well.
Yeah, she got her.
Yeah.
My pastor.
Oh, her 120. Okay,
Yeah.
she was thinking her 120.
Yeah,
Probably.
my total.
No, you coached her well. She got her first 2 loyal customers.
$100.
You got $100. Yeah, so she got her $100 fast start bonus, okay? you're still signing people. You're still getting your 80 over here, okay? Like, y'all, now all of you have probably signed like 10 people by now. She's getting $80 for everyone you're bringing in, okay? Just so you know, this team's still growing because she's leading well, and y'all are leading well. So we're still got a bunch of 80s going on over here. So, Katie, you signed this whole side of the room. Okay, you coached them well, again. So what are you getting for coaching them well?
$100.
$100 each. She's a double diamond. She signed Katie. Katie got her first 2 loyals. She got $100 because she sponsored her. She's a double. She also got an additional $120. And Katie just went out and signed this whole side of the room. Guess what she got?
120.
120, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120, 120. And then this second row right here, they all went out and signed 5 people themselves, and they're all working towards double diamond, okay? That whole double diamond legs, those are 120s popping up. Like, she's a double. Anyone that she brings into her team that wants to make a little money, get some free product, have friendship, fun, freedom, go on vacation, have something in savings, everyone that she brings in after going double diamond, she's getting, as long as she leads them right. And as long as they get their first 2 loyals, she's going to get $120 per person. You guys mind blown yet? You want that money tree? You guys talk about money growing on tree. This is it. Rubies are it. All right, go ahead, John. Trisha, or Elizabeth, come here. Come forward. You guys, this is Elizabeth. This is my friend who came in from Michigan. I was talking about. She's here. She's a triple diamond. Elizabeth, you signed me up.
I'd love that.
Okay. So you've coached me well. I've got my first 2 customers. What did you get?
I got
And how much is that?
$100.
So she got $100 because she coached me well and I got my first 2 customers, right? Okay. Well, she's a triple diamond. So what else are you getting? Because I signed up on your team after you went triple.
I got the $80 diamond. I got the $20 double, and I got the $15 triple. So $135 per new distributor that you successfully won.
So she just got an additional $135 off of me and $100. So she made $235 just because I joined her team because she's a triple diamond. And I went rogue, and I'm like, I'm going triple. And I signed this whole side of the room. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sign this whole side of the room too. And I coach you well, and y'all get your 2 customers. So what am I getting? 100, 100, 100, 100, because I'm fast start qualifying you, right? $100. I make $100. What does she get? 135, 135, 135. The whole room, she made $135 off of each person because she's a triple diamond, and she signed me, and I went rogue. Not to mention, I got Steph over here that went diamond. I signed, so now I'm a presidential diamond. So we're going to bring this home.
Can I meet?
No, I can sign you. All right, so I need my diamond, my double, and my triple. So come here. I'm going to make this really real for y'all. Here's your amazing, don't go anywhere.
Right here, I got a big group.
Okay, so we got diamond.
She's playing on this side of the room.
Wait, who is my double? Okay, so you're my diamond. You're my double. You're my triple. Come here.
You gotta stand right there.
And then I'm the presidential, right? Because it goes in order. So let's just say when I went, like, I'm a presidential diamond right now, okay? But I signed her when she was a diamond. When I was a diamond, I signed her. When I was a double, I signed her. When I was a triple, I signed her. I'm still getting all those 80s. I'm still getting all those 120s. I'm still getting all those 130s. I'm a presidential diamond right now. So who wants to be the person that I sign when I'm a presidential diamond?
All of us.
Okay. Tiffany, come here. So she joins my team. I'm presidential diamond. She joins my organization. I'm gonna coach her well. She's gonna get her first 2 customers. I'm gonna get my $100 fast start bonus, but I'm also getting $140 in addition to that off of her and anyone else she brings into the organization. So I'm still getting my 80s, I'm still getting my 120s, I'm still getting my 130s, and now I'm getting 140s off of anyone who joins my team as a presidential diamond. Once I go ambassador, it's 145.
It's 135.
Okay, well, whatever. You know what I mean, 130. I'm like, no, it's 135. 135, 140, 145. You don't have to be smart to do. You don't have to remember. You don't have to remember anything to do. But you guys see how it all starts with rubies? because it took 3 rubies for her to go diamond, 5 rubies for her to go double. Can somebody do the math?
I don't know.
Triple is a diamond and a double, so
Two
eight-
diamonds.
five,
Two diamonds and a double.
so like 12 rubies.
Yeah.
We're gonna guess. If it's wrong, don't shoot me. But you guys get the drift, right? It's rubies, 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 rubies. It's all about rubies. It's all about rubies, you guys. And if you can focus on your rubies, your money trees are gonna sprout in the back of your house, raining down on you, because it just starts going and going. Cammie Dempsey said one time, who does not know who Cammie Dempsey is? Okay, Cammie Dempsey is our Black Diamond. She's our Black Diamond upline, okay? She's also Mark Pentecost's daughter, so she's the CEO's daughter, okay? So you guys know. So Cammie had told us one time, this was a couple years ago, so I'm sure she gets a lot more than this now being Black Diamond, but she said just 1 month of her commission check, $40,000 was just those bonuses I was just telling you about.
I couldn't imagine.
Right? Right? And it's because she leads well. She leads well. That is our motto from this forward on, from May forward. Lead well. Because if you lead well, you can get a $40,000 CAB bonus on your commission check because you led well. Who's excited about going Ruby and building rubies and coaching rubies and like, who wants a money tree in their backyard? Who wants to go to sleep and wake up and see that your team grew and you're like, oh my God, that's an extra $140 in my life. You can go to sleep and wake up and have a money tree sprout in your backyard, guys. But it starts here.
That's right.
You can't get that money tree unless you go here first, which means you must complete step 1. What is step 1?
Join the party.
What is step 2? What is step 3?
Ruby.
And in order for all that to work, what do you need to do?
Coach people.
Lead well. And you'll create rubies. And those rubies will create rubies who will create rubies who will create rubies. And before you know it, you're going to have an extra $40,000 on your commission check. Hypothetically, but it could happen. Any questions? Did that kind of bring it home? Because I did that yesterday in New York and they flipped out on me.
Yeah.
Does that kind of like put it like, and you have to lead well, and it starts with the steps to success, and it truly is just your rubies. You don't go looking at the double diamond chart. It'll freak you out. When Trisha and I are, like, no joke, Trisha and I are charting her to triple, and Tina and I are charting her to double, we don't have a triple chart in front of us. We have, okay, the rubies, the diamonds. Okay, we break it down small. And did I not, one time we were on the phone, I'm like, okay, just take all those, staple them together, because it's these that are going to get you here. You have to look at the smaller picture, because those will get you to the bigger. Don't stress yourself out unnecessarily, because it's really just rubies. Lead well, be a great leader to your customers and your distributors, and the sky's the limit. Could I get my newbies? Tiffany and Crystal, please. And then Miss Tina is taking over. Do you guys like that? I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I'll probably do it like that from now on. Until I get bored with it, then I'll switch
it up. Okay. So these girls are super nervous, so I'm just gonna throw them under the bus, let you guys know that. But they
So was Tina. She's like, I forgot to write anything down.
I know.
I'll throw you
Thank
under the
God
bus, too.
Tiffany is green. She's saved
Yeah,
on this
I
one.
write everything down.
So these are two of my newer girls. They have been doing super awesome. So I wanted to throw them under the bus and put them up here today. So I have a couple questions. Crystal, I'm gonna start with you. So I want you to start off and just introducing yourself, you know, your name, where you're from, how long you've been in, whatever else you want to tell.
My name is Crystal. I've been in for 2 weeks, and I'm from Angola.
Anything else you want to tell, like, when kids, what you're doing?
I have 5 boys, so I'm joining because I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Because it's very hard to find babysitters for 5 boys.
That's true, because when we talked, like, you know, you get a part-time job, you're basically working the kids' babysitter, so we all know how it goes. So you've been in almost 2 weeks or right at 2 weeks?
Well, 2 weeks on Friday.
Okay, so she has her 2 loyal customers, okay? And she has a new team member joining on Friday, so she is definitely kicking butt. So Crystal, tell us what you have been doing or what you feel you've been doing to do so well the past couple weeks.
Well, I've been blowing my Facebook up for one.
True story.
I've sent instant messages through Facebook to everybody. Like, at one point I was literally going off of Sandy's, like, the scripts that she put on there, and I was just copy pasting them to every single message that I sent out. And then I had this one girl, I was friends with her up here, and she moved down to Southern Indiana, and she said that she's been looking to sign on for a long time, and she actually hit me up. I didn't even think to send her the message because she lives so far away, so, and then I know, I figured that out because she's the one that wants to sign on Friday, so.
Perfect. Okay, so how do you think you have been able to be so successful? Like, Facebook aside, what have you been doing that helped you kind of be on the right track to get to where you want to be?
Well, my goals, my kids, like, they're probably my biggest motivation. Like, my husband travels for a living, so it's just me with all the boys. And so that's pretty much just kind of pushed me that way. Like, every time I look at them, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to post on Facebook. So
like you just go back to your why and that kind of reminds you. What about like team calls, training, things like that? Have you been utilizing all that?
I try to get on team calls as much as possible. The team calls are usually at 9 o'clock, and where I work closes at 9. So a lot of times, like, I've gotten on the corporate calls and everything, and like I have to get off within like 20 minutes, but I try, so, because I always get a customer in before we close or something, so it never works out for me very well, but I try.
But you get on at least for a little bit.
Yeah, I at least attempt it.
So do you have any tips or advice for like other newbies that are out here? Because I've seen quite a few that raised their hand that have only been in like a couple weeks, 30 days. So what can you tell them that might make them be more successful?
Just look at your why, like, realize why you're doing it, push yourself to make those goals. And like somebody said, they write down their goals all the time. I don't think it was Sandy. You write everything down. Yeah, see? So yeah, I mean, write everything down, like run it through your head constantly. Like when you're cleaning house, just think of another way you could talk to somebody. That's what I do. I'm always trying to push myself to figure out new ways to get somebody.
Okay, so last thing. What kind of obstacles or like struggles have you had the past couple weeks where like has there been one thing or maybe multiple things that's happened and you sit back and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this? And what did you do to overcome it if you had any?
I don't really think I've had any yet because I've just been focusing on trying to grow. I haven't really ran into any for like 2 weeks, so I'm sure they're there. I just haven't taken the time to realize them.
You just have your blinders on right now. You're like,
yeah, I'm like full speed. I have like nothing here. It's all here.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for getting up here. All right, Tiffany, go ahead. Introduce yourself, tell them what else you're doing.
Okay. I'm Tiffany Parr. I have a boy, 8 years old, he'll be 9 in July. I started February 9th, I think, was the date that I signed in.
That's where you start.
I work constantly. I work third shift, so I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly doing something.
Why don't you share with us why you joined?
I am so sick of living paycheck to paycheck. Like my checks are gone before I even get them because my bills, like it's all set up. Like I don't have any extra money, and I followed your post for a couple of years, and just seeing all the positive, everything, just how you make your money and stuff. I wanted to be like you.
And it was funny though because we were really good friends in high school, and
We lost touch.
and she knows. Like you guys have heard. Anybody who's been in for a while has heard my story about how I used to be before I found It Works. Like I was negative. You know, you guys
Oh,
know my
like
life
that.
story,
That's
and
like
like
that.
I just hated the world. And so she knows who I was before it works, and so she's seen how it changed me. So that's part of what she means by that, because
Yeah.
like she can kind of relate to a lot of things. We've had life happen, so I just think that's really cool for her to be able to see the difference, because I see the difference in myself, and for somebody else to see it. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Miss Tiffany promoted to executive last night. So why don't you share with everybody why you feel that you were able to be so successful in just, you know, a little bit so much?
I constantly stay in contact with Tina. Before I put in a loyal customer, I ask her first where to put them, because I don't know if I should put them all under me. Sticking with my posts on Facebook. If anybody not if they like my posts, but if they comment on my posts, I'll message them right away and tell them whatever they're liking, you know, I'll talk about that product with them. That's about it. I stay in contact with my loyal customers that I do have. I'll contact them. I'll try to do it 2 days. I don't know who did that rule, that 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. I do that a lot. I'm not sure who put that out there, but I do that a lot too. Most of my customers, everything that I've built came from social media posts and staying in contact with them through
I'll
messages.
remember that.
Yeah.
But you if you're good.
No. As long as I have what you're gonna ask me, then we can do it.
It's so funny, because I was just totally gonna wing the whole thing, and
I'm
like
so glad you
3
did
days
it.
ago, she goes, "What questions are you gonna ask me?" And I'm like, I just like rambled some stuff out at the time, like I really had no idea.
And I wrote it
And
down.
then I came to the day, I didn't write any of those questions down that I told her I was gonna ask, like I was gonna wing it again. And she's like, "Oh, look what I did." I'm like, "Crap, okay, I have to
I
write those
just get
down."
so nervous.
But I
I'll
used
draw
to be
a
the
blank.
same way, like you can't even tell you're nervous, so
Yeah.
you're doing good. Okay, so what tips or advice would you give everybody who's sitting here today, new people, seasoned people?
The number one is stay in contact with your team. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't give up, stick with it. I've been told no so many times, and I've almost quit a couple times, and I've reached out to Tina, and you just gotta stick with it. Some of those no's that I got in February when I first joined are now my loyal customers. I have 2 of them that, you know, laughed at me, made fun of me because of what I was doing, and now they're loyal customers. So just stick with it.
Okay, so the other thing I want to add is, what book have you read?
Oh my God, everybody has to read that book. What was that? The Keys?
The Secret.
The Secret, and then what's the other one though that I got? The network marketing
Was
one.
it your first year in network marketing?
That's it. Those 2 books.
Yes.
So
Those are
self-development.
musts. Yeah, The Secret though really hit home, I guess. I mean, it was amazing. I watched it on Netflix first, and then I read the book within 2 days. I think that's a must read for everybody.
So kind of piggybacking on that, like self-development is huge, because like she said, she's had no's and she's thought about quitting, but like, and I felt the same way too, but I owe like The Secret and doing self-development to me, like staying on and like pushing through, because it's hard sometimes.
It is.
So you have to have the right mindset. So I'm gonna ask you the last question. We talked about this earlier, so don't go too far into detail, because I'm gonna make you stay up here.
Okay.
But what kind of obstacles have you had?
Time management, biggest one, because I do work 3rd shift and I have kids. So it's not like I can, you know, when I wake up, I usually wake up at 2 o'clock every day. Then I'll go pick up my son from school, and then usually I'll get right in front of the computer, or I'll be on my phone messing around, and he's always at my butt, because he says I never spend time with him, because you know, when I'm not at work, I've still got something in front of me, either my computer or my phone, you know, doing Facebook posts and all that stuff. So that's my biggest obstacle, is time management and trying to separate it, you know.
Okay. And I don't want her to go too far into detail, because that's actually the next slide. So I'm gonna have her stay up here with me, because she does still work and she can relate to a few more things that it's been a couple years since I've worked and done at work. So, Crystal, thank you for coming up. Does anybody have any questions for these ladies, or anything you want to throw in as far as?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, I think you guys should ask questions.
When you guys got started, like that first 24 hours, what was your head saying?
I gotta find 4 loyal customers. That, like, when I first signed up, because that's what she pushed on me. You know, she said that I had to get those first loyal customers within, I think you said like a week is what my shot was, to try to get 2 within a week, or
I say 4 loyal customers within your first 3 to 5 days.
that's it. Yeah.
That's why I tell many people.
So I just instantly went to Facebook and started messaging people. I didn't do my first Facebook post though. It was probably a week after I signed, because I was so nervous about it. I didn't, you know, what if nobody liked it, or
Okay, so
or
tell
what
me,
if they commented
tell
on
me
it
what
and
made
said,
you
"Oh, this is
nervous.
junk."
You just said, that's what I want to know. What was your head saying? What was the nervousness? What were you thinking as far as what made you nervous?
I guess denial of it.
Okay,
That's a big thing, saying, getting told no.
okay,
Rejection. I don't like being rejected. It brings me down.
okay.
Who likes being
Who
rejected, though?
doesn't? Yeah, thank you. Ask him.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're all the same. Like, nobody wants to be told no.
Who just loves being rejected?
Yeah.
Who loves being told no?
You're right.
There's always one in the room.
like to convince them that they're wrong.
You're right, aren't you?
It's just argumentative.
But what about you?
Well, I have to be honest, when I signed up, I didn't tell my husband. Because
You
he's.
did or you
didn't?
didn't?
No.
I didn't either.
Well, he is completely against stuff like this. He doesn't believe in it. He honestly thinks it's a waste of time and everything. So, like, it was a while ago that I talked to him about being a stay-at-home mom. He, like, freaked out about it because he didn't think that it was going to be good enough for us and stuff financially. And so when I started looking into stuff like this, he was so against it and always complaining about it. And that's just worthless and a waste of time and blah, blah, blah. So when I signed up after seeing Tina's post for like 3
So
months.
really, when I was like messaging you like every other day, I was trying to convince your husband and not you.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was like, finally, after 3 months of following Tina, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to not tell him and I'm just going to sign up and he's not going to bring me down or anything. So, I mean, not intentionally, he wouldn't, but like, you know, so I was like, Tina, I have to do this. Like, let's just do this. So we met up like a week later. And
So you did it. You
Yeah.
gave her the application, you're in the system, you got the confirmation email from
Yeah.
corporate saying, welcome to It Works. Where's your mind? What are you doing?
oh God, what if
This is
my
why
husband,
she's here.
what if my husband flips out on me? What if he gets mad? You know, a lot of guilt and denial because honestly, I was like, what if he's right? What if I shouldn't have done this? You know, but then after talking to Tina and stuff, like, and understanding more about the business and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, I can do this. Like, I can do this. So I've been positive ever since, and I just keep going.
Right on.
Does he know now?
Yeah, I know.
What was his reaction?
I told him, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. Or I told him, I was like, I've already signed up, but you know, I got a separate bank account. Everything's separate from you. You don't have to worry about it. So I was like, if anything happens, it'll be on me.
Yeah.
So,
If he ever says anything to you, all you have to do to say to him, hon, is say, you don't have to support my business, but you do need to support me.
but you know what? I have been trying to prove him wrong this whole time, and I think that's kind of what's made me positive, aside from my kids and wanting to stay home, because he doesn't know that I have 2 loyal customers. He doesn't know that I have somebody signing up on Friday. I have not told him anything. So I wanted him, I was kind of trying to keep it in the dark until I started financially succeing.
Mhm.
And
So
then I
she's
was
gonna be like, fast start bonus, boom, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at my paycheck, babe. Look what I did.
That's all mine, not yours.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's a separate bank account.
Not on it.
Okay, anybody else? Or Elizabeth, do you have any more questions?
No, that's great.
Everything else good? All right, well, thank you. I'm gonna let you go back. I'm gonna make you stay. Okay, so I'm gonna go over time management a little bit. I made Tiffany stay up here because, like I said, I have been, thanks to It Works, I've been able to stay at home with my girls. June is gonna be 2 years. I've been a full-time It Works girl, stay-at-home mom. Honestly, best 2 years of my life, but I'm not gonna go into all that because I get very passionate about it. So, you know, I do remember what I did to get to where I needed to be able to quit my full-time job. I worked in corporate America. I was a salary paid account manager. You know, I made good money, so I knew what I needed to make to be able to quit that job and still be, you know, financially secure enough to still be able to live life, because I like to have fun, so I need money to do that. Yeah. So, you know, I know a little bit of what I did when I worked, but Tiffany is living it right now, so
Yeah.
I didn't even, like, this was a spur of the moment thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna make you stay up here. Because she mentioned when we were going over her questions for the newbie panel, what?
Oh, it is.
Well, kind of, but I threw her under the bus. But when we were going over those questions, she was talking about how time management is an issue for her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing like this thing on that. That's like perfect. But I hear that a lot, and I'm sure Sandy does, and like Trisha, and anybody who has even, once you have like a couple people under you, you're gonna start hearing, and even Kim, she was saying it too, and she's technically a stay-at-home mom, and so even though you're working a full-time job or being a stay-at-home mom or whatever it is you do, work part-time, time is it's very special, and you want to make sure you're utilizing it. And I feel like everybody has time for this business. It's just a matter of making it a priority and really focusing on what you're making time for. So I feel like the first thing you need to do is you need to sit down and you need to think, what do I want out of this business? What do I want out of It Works? Okay. So do you want $300 to $500? Do you want $2,000 a month? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home dad, stay-at-home family? Do you want to be an ambassador? Because once you figure that out, then you can really focus on how much time you're going to have to actually put into It Works, okay? Because if you want to make an extra $300 a month, an hour a day for It Works is ideal. You could totally spend an hour a day on It Works and make $300 to $500 easy, okay, a month with It Works. If you want to be an ambassador, you're not going to be able to sit at home and spend an hour a day on It Works and think you're going to be making $200,000 plus, or $100,000 a month. That's what they make. That's flat, whatever. Anyways, a lot of money a month. So that kind of puts into perspective how much time you got to spend on It Works. Okay. So those are the first two things you need to do: figure out what you want, and then figure out how much time a day you need to spend on this to get there. Okay. So then you need to think about maybe some sacrifices you're going to have to make. And, I don't love the word sacrifices because people hear that word and they think of bad things. So what I mean by sacrifices is, let's say you want to be Diamond, okay? Your goal is Diamond. Diamond's going to help you stay at home with your family, what have you, okay? So for me, going back to when I worked a full-time job, what I had to do, and again, anybody who's been in this business for a couple of years has heard me talk about this, I would have to get up at 4:30 in the morning to, if I wanted to exercise, to go to the gym, out, to be able to come home, answer all my messages, talk to my team, what have you, post on Facebook, go to work, 8+ hours a day, go to the bathroom a lot during work. I had to pee a lot. I was actually checking Facebook and my messages and whatever, following up with people. And then I would get off work. And Sandy did the same thing. I would pack my It Works shirt with me, and I would change right when I got done with work, and I would go to a party. I would go meet with a potential. I did what I had to do. I would go home and I would spend my time with my family, my kids, clean the house, whatever. Get on team calls, go to team trainings. Like, that was my life. I would go to bed a little bit later, half an hour later, an hour later. I made those small sacrifices for a small amount of time for the big payout in the end. And I can assure you and tell you guys with complete certainty that it was completely worth it. I might have missed a few practices and a few games, but now I never have to miss any of that again. What I miss is my choice. And I have a bond with my girls and my husband and my family that I never could have imagined. So it's totally worth it. It's a little bit of sacrificing, like I said. Now I'm still busy, but I'm busy with things I want to be busy with. So again, utilizing my time is more of what I like to call dead time. And Pam Souter actually kind of talked to us about this at Sarah Rankin's leadership retreat. She was talking about like posting on Facebook. That's kind of something you want to do on your dead time. You should never be sitting for hours on end every day, scrolling through Facebook, posting on Facebook, following up with people. That's something you should be doing when you're like waiting in line to pick up your kids from school, going to the bathroom, like things like that where you can be multitasking. So really be conscious of how you're spending your time, making sure you're really utilizing every second of the day. If you have to sacrifice some sleep or whatever, it'll be totally worth it. So before I go into any more, what are you doing working third shift on top of that? Like, I have never worked third shift in my life. I don't even know if I can do it.
It's horrible.
So share with us like what you do day to day, how you make everything work.
I usually get up at 2 o'clock every day, and I'll scroll through and I'll check if I have any messages or whatnot on Facebook, and I'll reply to those. And then I go and pick up my son while I'm waiting on him to get out. That's when I'll usually get on Hootsuite, and I'll, automatically schedule some posts, 3 days out, so I don't really have to worry about that. When I get home, it's usually homework time with him, and then we'll sit and we'll get all this homework done. After that, usually I go into my bedroom and I'll get on my computer because that's where my office is. It's in my bedroom, but I'll leave the door open and he can come back there, you know, whenever he wants to. But to him, he's 8 years old. He still thinks that I'm not spending time with him. So what I do now, and I just started doing this a couple weeks ago, is I don't get on the computer anymore when he's there. I'll do that when he goes to bed at 9 o'clock and before I go to work. I go to work at 11 o'clock every night. So I usually have about 2 hours to myself to where I can go, you know, do whatever I need to do on my computer. But when Carter is awake, I'll just have my phone sit beside me and like whatever we're doing, playing video games, which is usually what he does. I'll just have it sit beside me, and then every couple seconds, you know, I'll pick it up, and he doesn't really see it. Like we're playing video games, so he's all about killing me. So, so it usually works out. But before I started doing that, it was really hard. I mean, he took it rough because when I first joined this business, I sat everybody down and I explained to them, like you told me to do, you know, what was going on, what I had to do to make my business grow. And he was all about that though. I mean, you know, he wants his mom to stay at home. He hates me going into work at night, you know, and it's just horrible. But now, I mean, because I did sit him down and I told him all that, like he doesn't see it, how do I say this? Like he still sees me constantly busy and constantly working, but the last 2 weeks have been great. I mean, it's working out good. I just constantly have my phone beside me, and then, you know, every, I don't know, 2 minutes I'll pick it up and I'll look at it and go from there.
You know, I'm gonna cut in real quick and then I'm gonna let you finish. But so there was a point in my business where the reason why I started this business was to stay at home with my kids, so I could be a stay-at-home mom. And Cami Dempsey, I think it was 2 years ago at conference, it might have been my first one, I don't know. She said, "You can do anything, but you can't do everything."
I love that.
Yeah, that really stuck with me. And another thing that she said is don't let your why become your excuse, which is the one I was looking for. But and I did that. So what happened was I joined this business because of my kids. And then I think it was like 8 months of my business. I started letting my husband get in my head, and he was saying, you know, you're always away from the kids. You're always going to trainings. You're always going to parties. You're always on team calls. You're always on your phone, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're spending time away from the kids. The whole point in this was to be with the kids. And so I really let that get in my head. Like, it really hit home with me. Like that was like heartfelt, like almost like it brought me to tears. And so honestly, I let my business kind of go to the wayside. Like, I would get on team calls when I felt like it. I would go to team trainings to make it look good, but was I really there? No. Was I really putting 100% in? No. And what happened to me? I sat at rank for a very long time. And actually, that's when a big part of why my business started to fall apart there first. So do not let that become your excuse. Don't let your why become your excuse, because it's just going to set you back. And I wish I could have those months. I think it was like 4 months. I wish I could have those 4 months back, because you can do a lot in 4 months. Another thing, kids always think that you're ignoring them no matter what you do.
Yeah.
So do you want to be the mom that's sitting at home watching TV, just not setting any sort of example for your kids, or, you know, sleeping all day? Or do you want to be the mom that's showing your kids that you're going out there and you're building an empire for them, that you're building a legacy for them?
Yeah.
So no matter what, you're never going to make your kids happy.
Yeah.
Just be a role model and a leader.
Right.
I'm living proof of that. So just show them, you know, what you can do with life. Be an example. So that's what I think about. Like, because even my kids today, you know, sometimes they think, oh God, you have to go to training today or this and that. And I just think, you know, I'm showing them that I'm a hard worker. My kids never see me sit. They never see me sit and just waste a day away. Like, I'm always doing something, and I'm not just meaning at work. Like, I'm doing something for them, or for my husband, or for whatever. So just be a leader, like, for your kids, an example. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut it.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm doing. Like you just said, when I came to training today, Carter goes, "You're going to training again? Didn't you just go last weekend?" Because he went, but it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
because it's spring break, so that felt kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I really do is I wait until he goes to bed before I get on. I try to anyway. So I have usually from 9 to 11, well, 9 to 10:30, and to make clothes to do that or whatever, you know. And then I have that 2 to 3 before I get up from school that I do that. And then if my phone does go off when we're playing, or when, you know, I just pick it up real quick, message them, and then put it back down.
And same thing, like, you can watch movies with kids, be on Facebook, and they have no idea.
He has no idea. Yeah, you're still there with them. You're, you know, paying attention to them. So that's about it.
All right, that's perfect. Okay, so real quickly, because I feel like I talk way too much, I just wanted to add that along with time management, a way to manage your time to be more like organized, because I'm not like super organized. I mean, like, I kind of am, but I'm kind of not, because I'm like a do, what's the term they use? Like, you do and get results type of person. So, like, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, when I do something, I want to see results right away. Like, I don't like waiting for results, which is kind of where I kind of got discouraged in the beginning of my business. Yeah. So what's really helped me to be organized and really manage my time is 6list. Or we also have our 20-point sheet. They're kind of the same thing. So what you guys want to do every night before you go to bed is make a list of like at least 6 income producing activities that you're going to do the next day for your business. Now for me, because I do so much, like as far as with my kids at home and with my business, I kind of have one list that has a little bit of everything. So like I have like go to the grocery store, balance the checkbook, follow up with 3 potentials, whatever. So basically you want to have a list every night so that you can hold yourself accountable, because we all like marking things off the list, right? Like you want to go to the grocery store, you're like, yeah, got that, mark it off. So make a list at night, and then that will hold you accountable for the next day. And I'm not saying like you have to do everything on the list. If you don't, just add it to your list for the next day. So that's basically where I kind of want to leave it. I don't want to go into too much more detail. Do you guys have any questions at all? Or anything you want to throw in that you has really been valuable for you as far as time management? Good. You guys are also quiet.
Sweet.
Sweet, yeah. That's what Tiffany does, utilize it, yeah.
Yep.
Hootsuite is like an app. If you guys have I think it's Android and Apple.
Yeah.
It's free. It's an app you can get, and you can basically set up all your posts to post for like a whole month out if you want.
Yep. It's awesome.
So if you work, yeah, it's perfect.
I was just gonna say, you said you hate the word sacrifice. Instead of sacrifice, why not adjustment or change?
Yep. That's a better way.
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
terrible at like
yeah.
thinking of the proper words. So yeah, I do hate the word sacrifice because it's not really the proper term.
But it
Change
is
or
a
adjustment.
word, but it is a word that we all have in our
Yes.
heads. We feel like we're making a
It
sacrifice.
makes a
because-
negative.
Yeah,
impression.
and what
Yeah.
we're doing is not a negative thing at all. No way, shape, or form is anything that any of you are doing, no matter if you are 12 hours in or 12 months in or 12 years in, what you're doing is not a sacrifice.
I would just, I could
Yeah.
make an adjustment than I would sacrifice.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing is, like, no matter how long you're in this business, you're always going to hit those little roadblocks. You're always going to question yourself. So that's where the self-development and the being organized and utilizing your time is going to come into play, because you have to have a strong mindset, and you have to always be able to come back to that why. Okay, so Kelly and Brianna? I'm not sure if I said it right. Yeah, good. Thank you. Mr. Feedback.
Oh, you're fine.
You got the floor.
Oh, nobody's asking questions?
No.
Really?
Well, Katie, you shot me stuff, so go for it. Go ahead, sit there with them. Go for it.
Yeah, that'd make me feel better.
Because then you send me like,
Yeah.
okay, go
I
for
don't
it.
remember what I said, but I'll wing it here. Okay, I know Brianna blitzes a lot, and she does it together with a sideline sister a lot. They'll make a day and go pick a town, a mall or something, and they'll go there and they'll blitz all day long. Everywhere they stop, when they stop for lunch, everything they do, they're blitzing. I mean, that day is set for that, as well as adding that to her day. So I suggested that Brianna talk about this subject. She finds different ways to blitz rather than just walking up to somebody. So can you tell like all the different ways, like your card holder thing and all the different ways that you've found to blitz?
Well, like the card holder, I just made like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a holder, and you just put it on the outside of your car window with blitz cards, and it says take one. That's just something without talking to people, obviously, but I think my favorite is the go for no, because if you go out at, like, if you set your goal to go blitz 5 people, you're going to stop at 5, most likely. But if you set your goal for get 5 no's, then it's going to take a lot more people to get to that. Like, you're going to blitz a lot more people than just 5. So that's my favorite.
Do you find it easier to get yeses when you're going for no?
Absolutely. It's so much, like, surprisingly, you get a lot of yeses. So,
like if she goes out, she's gonna tell herself, I'm gonna blitz. I'm going to Target and I'm gonna blitz and Target until I get 5 no's. And so she's gonna go start finding people and blitzing them. And it's amazing when you take the pressure off of yourself for, I don't have to get a yes from this person. I'm trying to get a no. Taking that pressure off, all of a sudden you communicate better with those people, and it's a lot easier to get a yes, I think. And I think a lot of people realize that after they tried it.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And the folder thing, when do you put that on the outside your window? Do you only do that like at a mall, or do that everywhere you park?
I do that. I mean, if I'm gonna run the gas station for a pop for like 30 seconds, then no. But if anywhere I go, Walmart, grocery store, anywhere, it's on my car. So.
Kelly.
I like her ideas. Seriously, I'm up here, but I remember her talking about being, I don't blitz, sorry. I'm scared to death. Scared to death. Yeah,
Who else is afraid to blitz? Oh my
God. I'm scared to death. And then I go out and then I think, okay, I'm gonna do it today. I'm gonna do it today. And I chicken out.
Okay, so why are you afraid of it? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of somebody telling you no?
Not exactly no, but then I'm that crazy rap girl. I am.
So I was too.
Oh yeah.
And it was difficult for me to. I had them right there in my purse, and I would think about it, and then I'd be like,
yep,
I can't do it. Yeah. So I had to start making myself, like, if somebody was super nice to me or super helpful to me, I had to make it like I was doing them a favor by giving them the coupon, and took me several attempts, and it really took until I got into a group, and conference was huge, and I had Trisha standing by my side, so I had all this courage built up, and once I did it a few times, like, just somebody who helped me. Somebody who I'm like, hold on. Wait, I leaned over her in the truck, like, trying to get the lady out the window. So, it's easier in groups, and I think with Brianna and Ty going together, I think they built each other up too.
Yeah, it is a lot easier when you go with somebody.
That's an option. Going together is having other crazy rap girls with you. At least when somebody looks at you like, no way. Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
You got your friend beside you to be like, whoa, that girl was crazy. Let's go. And I feel like it took me a long time.
Well, and when I first started blitzing, everybody that was welcoming to it and everything, I was still nervous. Like every time I would do it, I was still so nervous until really the first person that told me no, like I don't want that. And I was just thinking, is that all that's gonna happen? Yeah. So that's
Right.
kind of when I stopped being nervous.
The fear comes from the unexpected, but
Yeah.
what really happens isn't really that bad.
Exactly.
We've all had worse things happen.
So scared to blitz, go for no. Go tell yourself I'm gonna go out and try to get no's, because you're like, as soon as I can hurry up and get these 5 no's, I can leave here and I can stop blitzing or whatever. Go for no is probably the best advice. I think Trisha maybe told me, just go see this month, try to get 30 no's this month or something. I was like, is she crazy? I don't want to no's, like stupid. And once I did it, I was like, oh, okay, and now I get it. So who do you target when you blitz? Is it just everybody? Is there certain people, or is it just, how do you know who to blitz?
I mean, it just depends really. Like if I'm in a grocery store, I like to eavesdrop. Like I'll listen to everybody's conversations around me. And if I hear somebody talking about like, I can't buy that because I'm gonna gain all this weight, I'm like, hey, and I'll just start talking to them like, I have that problem too. So it just, I don't know, I guess just listen to everybody. And
okay. And Kelly, have you blitzed anybody like
I have.
did they just speak to you? Was it just a feeling you had? Or did it just look like somebody you should blitz? Did it look like somebody who was gonna be a crazy rap girl?
I work at a hospital, so I see a lot of people come in, and it's kind of, I don't really can,
Right.
but a lot of times what I'm trying to do is I'll write their name down, and then I'll see if I can find them on Facebook and then talk to them a little bit. Sometimes I get a little
So you're
But I-
blitzing on Facebook.
Basically, there's some, yes. And then I do have like a couple people that I've talked to. Well, I should say I talked to like some of the coworkers or the volunteers, and they're all like, but I did blitz our security guard. Because she's getting married.
She's getting married.
Yeah, and she wants to look good in her dress, so she's gonna make all
That's
that.
perfect.
So, okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, so where? And she has a question.
No, you're fine. Well, I'm just asking, like, blitzing wise, how are you sealing like their information? No, just because sometimes you hand them one and they're like, oh, this is really cool, but then you feel awkward being like, well, can I have your name and number? Because some people are like, well, then I'm gonna feel obligated, like I have to buy.
I was really scared to do that at first, like terrified to ask somebody for their number. But I use the I'm in a contest excuse. I always use that, like not always, but most of the time. I'm just like, I'm in a contest with my team. We're trying to blitz so and so many people or whatever, and almost always I get their number. And I always have my Facebook like this, my 2 apps. I always have my Facebook search thing and my contact thing on my phone ready to go, so that if they have a Facebook, I can just search them, or if they don't have a Facebook, I can type their number in.
And do you hand your phone to them and say,
Yeah.
here, find yourself?
Yep.
Or do you, I know some people have them say, oh, well, do you know, if you have your phone, look me up and send me a friend request. Is a good one, because then they're sending it to you. You're not waiting on them to accept your friend request.
And is that more for like them to follow you so they don't feel obligated, like, oh, if I give them my information, like I'm gonna have to buy something? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah,
Like,
you're just
hey,
becoming
follow
friends
me on Facebook.
They have the option to unfriend you later.
And then they can see everything you're posting and all that stuff too.
And have you ever done the texting your blitz card?
Yes. I don't
I
buy
have
many blitz cards
I haven't
anymore.
yet.
And how do you approach that?
I tell people I have a coupon for my business. I don't know if you know it's like you, but I lose coupons all the time. So why don't I just send you an electronic one? What's your phone number? And I'll just send you an electronic one, and you can use it anytime. There's no expiration date.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
And that way now you've got their phone number.
write that down.
So you can contact them again, and then later, when do you follow up with them?
I get, once I send them that, if I haven't heard back from them, I'll send it again. I just want to make sure I had the right phone number and that you got it. Did you have any questions about how to use it?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
Elizabeth, what, can you share some of your, because you and I've been in this for 4 years.
Forever.
So we've gone through, because blitzing, it started out like, I think it's evolved,
So it has.
totally evolved. So can you share some of what your some of the things that you've learned along the way, because we have totally changed how we blitz now, because it used to be literally, let's get all of our gear on, let's go out into the mall, and
That
let's
spooked me out. I wouldn't do it.
and like, so, and that totally scares people, because it's like, I can't do that. And now there's so many different ways. So why don't you, if you don't mind, and you'll share what you see evolving, what you've noticed is working better, that what we thought might have been working 4 years ago, and maybe some of your best tips on blitzing that these girls might be able to take away with, because I just got an aha of just 2 sentences you just said. So if you wouldn't mind sharing some of those.
I'm gonna just let you guys know, I'm very forward. You can take me or leave me. It doesn't matter to me.
Questions here.
Social media is not, for me, my primary way to build my business. I build on relationships. So to me, when people lean on social media, it's the chicken crap way to build your business, because you have absolutely no connection with the person. They don't trust you, they don't know you, and there's no reason for them to be loyal to you or to even follow up with you. That's just my I've always been building sales, because I've been in business development since the time I was 20. All my transactions are built on relationships. So unless you have the way to build a relationship with someone through social media, which sometimes is really difficult, those people don't last for very long. So how much time are you going to invest in that person when you don't know the person? You don't know, what they do besides the cute pictures on Instagram or the cute picture, How many of us have put something up, I'm having a great day on Facebook, and you're not? Okay,
Yeah.
They do it too. So when I do my stuff on social media is basically to reinforce. It's not the primary. It is to reinforce the messages that I'm already in conversations, I'm already having with people on Facebook. And I do the electronic coupon. Yes, of course I connect with people on Facebook. I want people to follow me. Absolutely. And I don't, my Facebook is inspirational. I do health stuff. I do stuff about my kids, and I do stuff about my business. In regards to blitzing. So when we started, I remember they said blitzing, and I was like, blitzing to me was really corny. When then I realized that it really is just an exchange of contact information. It really is. And so we say blitzing because it makes it less businessy. It's more of a casual way to say it. You know, it's kind of like we dress like this for a business meeting. You know, for 20 years, I couldn't walk in a business meeting like this. I had to wear a suit and high heels. You know what I mean? It's just, it's easier to say blitz. So get that out of your mind if you're afraid of the word blitz. It's really just exchanging contact information. And so that's another thing that I'll do. When someone says to me, you know, if I'm standing in line next to you in Walmart and you ask me about my shirt, or, you know, I say, sometimes you can just feel that someone is not comfortable with exchanging information with you. Guess what? Sometimes they need to hear it 7-10 times before they're comfortable. I just planted a seed, that's all. I'm not going to push you to the point of breaking, because I don't want her to have a bad impression of it works. So I'll just say, if you're ever interested, get together with the rep that you know. If not, here's my card. You know, I don't force it on her, but I don't count that I don't use that as a good blitz because I didn't get her contact info. But sometimes I will say to you, here's my contact information, what's yours? It's an exchange. Here's my contact information, what's yours? And most of the times they will do some sort of, you know, exchange thing. In regards to blitzing, I think it's really important that we realize that, I mean, how many people are in this room? I've been in Fort Wayne when there's been more people in this and less people than this. The most important thing right now are the people in this room. There is no one in this room that is more important than you right now. And where you're going to be 30 days from now, how many people on your team, is really up to you. And so if you are doing well with social media, then keep building. If it's slowing down, then you need to change it up. What does that mean? Maybe you need to go out and you need to blitz. You need to go out and you need to find new friends. Because this business somehow shows you that some of the people that you thought were your friends really were just acquaintances. Okay? So you have to go out there and create new opportunities for yourself to blitz. Whether it's a chamber of commerce, whether you get involved with your kids' PTA, or, you know, you go, you know, child study club at the library, or, you know, whatever it is. You have to put yourself out there in new ways to meet new people. That's what all blitzing is finding new contacts. That's all it is. And when you go out to blitz and you get that contact information, now please be honest with yourself, because I am guilty of this. I've gotten contact information from someone who's been interested in it, and I've stinking lost it in my car or my purse. I have. I've even set it down on my countertop, and who knows where it went after the dinner dishes were cleared. You know, we need to treat those pieces of paper, if they give us a piece of paper, like gold. If you exchange their contact information via Facebook or, you know, Instagram or whatever it is, create some sort of filing system so they don't just go, you don't forget who they were, because follow-up creates the fortune. There was someone at a training that talks about that. And follow-up, guys, is follow-up till they tell you, I'm not interested. And what that means is they're not interested right now. So keep following up, just make it further apart. When they say, stop contacting me, that means stop contacting me. My double diamond, I dripped on for a year. A year. I dripped on her. Drip, 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 drip. I mean, I wasn't maddening crazy. Belinda, if you're watching this, I love you. You know, but it's, you know, it was every month, twice a month sometimes, and eventually she figured out that she had to pay a cable bill for $60, and she wanted to become a distributor. 120 days later, she was a double diamond, and she's 65 years old. Okay, so it's about dripping. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
So when you're saying that you're afraid of blitzing, can I just go into objections? Because I'm sitting there, all these objections are going through my head.
It's on a future panel thing of hers, so that's why.
What's next? No, wait.
No, what? Go.
You want me just to go into the objections?
No, not really.
Okay. I'm just gonna deal with hers.
Okay.
And it's not really about you.
We love you, Kelly.
Get her.
It's not.
Method to my madness. Please follow.
Okay. She's not afraid because of her. She's afraid of what someone else is gonna think about her. Otherwise, she'd be talking to every Jill, Sally, and Bob on the road. You know? If you just got a check for $8,000,
Would I care? No. So there you have
then
it,
guess
right?
what? You need to act like that now.
You're right.
Because you're never gonna get the $8,000 check unless you do it, girl. And I know
Thank
that'd be
you.
hard,
I
but
need
that's what
that.
it is.
Can you say that again so them in the back can hear you?
We were talking about if you had an $8,000 check deposited in your account on the 15th of last month. How would you feel? Would she have any problem with what people thought about her, what she would say to every Sally, Jane, and Bob on the road? No. She's never gonna get that $8,000 check unless she goes to talk to every Jane, Sally, and Bob on the road. You have to. You have to get over what people think about you. It's really not about you. They're gonna think about you. You can only control what you think. You
Right.
can't control what they think.
That's right.
Really?
No.
So who cares what they think?
That's true.
You can't control
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Does that make sense?
Good.
Yes, she's good. I love it.
We love you, Elizabeth.
She's,
I didn't shoot you.
Oh, you just.
I
No. You guys just wait. She's gonna close out the day. I love you.
I love it. It's you.
But I'm gonna put a plug in you right now. Go ahead.
So one thing I want to add to that is what I tell my team. So Jane, Bob, and Sally, is that the three you choose? They don't pay your bills, right?
No.
So why do you care what they think?
Yeah.
Like I always tell my team that because I had that issue when I first started too. I cared about what people were gonna say. Same thing where Tiffany's at. Like I didn't want to post on Facebook because I thought, oh God, they don't want to see all my Facebook post about it works. And
You can probably.
weird. Like they don't pay my bills. And I realized who my real friends were, and that will all come over time. But what matters is that you're paying your bills and you're getting that $8,000 a month check.
Now, and the thing too, I'm gonna just kind of touch on something real quick, and then we're gonna be done unless you guys want to close out with anything. Actually, yeah, I got one thing. When you guys are sharing on social media, okay, make sure you're doing the F words, okay? Fun, friendship, freedom, fashion, fitness, family. Fitness is not F, it's PH, but whatever, go for it.
Fitness.
So all I think physique.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, whatever. Guys, I need like minimum sleep. I just got back from New York. I just roll with it. You also want to do your.
No excuses.
I'm here. Some people just didn't show up, not to just show up, and whatever. Okay, you also want to do your WWWs. Y'all just saw me post about that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You also want to share on social media where you were, where you are, and where you're going. You must share those adventures. If you are not sharing your stories, where you were before it works, where you are now that you're a part of this amazing organization, and where you see yourself going, you're missing out on sharing an amazing adventure with people. And that's a form of blitzing. Give me one tip. Go.
Follow up with all those people that after you've contacted them. If you don't follow up, it's worthless and you just psyched yourself all up to get nothing.
What's your tip?
Don't be nervous. I mean, don't worry about what everybody thinks and just do it. Because once you do, you're gonna realize how easy it is.
What's your tip?
What's my tip? I just gonna say, not be afraid. Just get out there and do it. Don't care what other people think.
Have people in your family, ask them if they will help you give out 5 Blitz cards a day.
Ooh,
That's a good idea.
good one. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. I'll unplug the vlog for I love you, Elizabeth.
I love you too, Sandy.
All right, so Stephanie, you'll come up. So we're gonna have Stephanie. She's this is the season for expos. There's fitness with an F. Fitness expos. There's bridal expos. There's baby expos. There's spring expos. There's summer ones. And so I get a lot of questions about, well, how do you set up a table? How do you do a table? How do you work a table? And Stephanie loves to do them. She does them often. This is actually one of her tables that she had. So we've got an example. This is just an example, you guys. I remember my very first expo I ever did, my very first one, like month 2 in the business. I went to Walmart and got a plastic bag and put it over, and I had balloons, and like there was nothing. So it doesn't matter, but she's gonna go through her tips on how to have a successful table, what you can do, and yeah, I'm just gonna let Stephanie take over.
Okay.
And talk loud.
Okay. It kind of depends on what the expo is as to what I put on a table or group together. Like if it's a bridal expo, a lot of times I put like the things that most of the facial products together, or the weight loss things together, like the triple threat things. I'll set those together. I like to set the greens together, the greens to choose, because it kind of like I said, it depends on what your expo is, because a lot of times if it's a bridal expo, they may not be interested in the energy drink or certain products. You know, they're interested in looking good for their day. They might be interested in losing weight before their day. So the facial products and the weight loss products would be best for that. A mommy expo, yeah, facial things, and then the weight loss things. But so you don't always have to put every product on the table. I don't ever want it to look too busy and too bunchy that someone, will think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to buy that table. I'm not talking to her because it just looks too crazy. I don't want it to look too busy. So yeah, it just kind of depends on what the actual event is that the products I group together put out. But always, I like to have the box where you can do your free drawing for either a wrap or facial, and you don't always have to give that away. If you don't have that to spare, you give away greens to everybody. Oh, now I'm getting warm, and I'm never warm. I am always cold. But I am always cold. But yeah, like a lot of times if I don't have, in the beginning, I didn't always have extra wraps to give away, but I almost always had greens, and so that was my thing. I would let people, I'm getting ahead of myself. Once you get your lead slips, I like to, within 24 hours, follow up with all of those people, because if they've gone to an event, I think to myself how many booths they've seen in that event, and I want them to remember me, and I want them to remember my booth. So I try to do it within 24 hours, and I always take a picture of their actual card that they filled out, and I text it to them if the number is a text number. If not, I will call them. I also try to find that person on Facebook so they can see my posts, and I can try to connect with them that way. But if I didn't have a wrap to give away, I would give away greens. I would take a picture of their card, and I would text it to them, and I'd say, hey, I drew your name out of hi, so-and-so, this is Stephanie. I met you at whatever the event was that they went to. I'm sorry you weren't my wrap winner. However, you did win a sample of our greens. And then I would wait to hear a response back from them. And then I would send them a sample of greens, every single person, and I would try to find them on Facebook.
One thing in the very beginning when I did events, I was of course nervous, and I would always stand behind the table. I don't like to do that anymore. I feel that it kind of shows that you're scared, you know? So I always try to stand in front of the table. I always try to stand beside the table. I think it gives them a little more sense of ease to come up to you. I always like to try to be upbeat. I hate when I see somebody at the booth next to me that is sitting down and on their phone. I mean, it's okay to have your phone there because if you have somebody that messages you, but I hate to see somebody on their phone all the time when they're supposed to be talking to people. I don't know, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. So I try not to do that, but I do have my phone there beside me. But yeah, I like to stand beside the table or in front of the table. I just think it seems a little more inviting than you being behind the table where people can't really see you. In samples, as far as giving out samples at the event, it just kind of depends on the event itself. If it's a bridal event, a lot of times it's too busy to do that. You feel like you're getting your samples out, so I don't always do that. But ones that I think might be slower, I give out samples of greens or samples of the greens chews. I like to do that.
What has been your favorite event that you've ever done? What styles?
I like the bridal events. I just think I like to ask, you know, when their wedding is and ask them details about their wedding. I think they're just a little more fast paced than other events. So those are my favorite. Anything else?
Does anyone have
follow up? I mean, if you get the lead slips and you don't ever follow up with them, why even do the event? I mean, that's the whole purpose, is to get the leads from people. So, and I always mention when I text them, you know, that they mark on the bottom if they're interested in a party or interested in wrapping with friends. I always say, hey, I noticed you marked on the bottom of your card you're interested in wrapping with friends. You know, if you get 3 or 4 people together, you know, your wrap is free. So I always mention that also. Now they may not, you know, a lot of times a bridal event, their wedding is way out, so it's not something they're interested in right now, but it may be something they're interested in when they get a little closer to their wedding. So.
In our team page, you guys, in case you're not aware of it, inside the files section, you'll have to search for it, but there are lead slips that I've uploaded, and you can download them to your computer. And at the bottom, you can actually tweak the questions that you're asking them based on the event that you're doing. So if it's a job fair, like Tina and I did a job fair not too long ago, and Dana did it, the question at the bottom was based on income. Okay. Then if you do a bridal, it's based on, do you want a wine and facial night, or do you want to wrap with friends? Do you want a pamper night? You can actually adjust the questions at the bottom once you download it to the computer. Okay. So those slips are really key to, the questions are key to the event that you're doing too.
Yeah, because not all questions apply to every event, you know. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. At first I was scared to death. But they're so much fun. You meet in most, I mean, I've had people that have totally avoided, you know, the table, but I don't know, sometimes I make them stop just from talking to them, you know. But not everybody, but yeah, they are a lot of fun, and you can get a lot of good leads that way.
And people are coming to these events and they know they're going to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, they know they're going to be stopping at tables, so don't be afraid to talk to them, because they know that they're going to be having conversations. Does anyone have questions for Steph? Maybe like you're getting ready to do an event and you want to ask her best tip? Any questions at all? You just did an event last week, didn't you?
Just yesterday, yeah.
Was it yesterday? Oh my gosh. I don't know what date it is. Yeah, Candy has
I'm new, so I don't even have the idea how I would even go about finding events.
And I didn't have any idea either. However, by asking around, and like at first, Trisha would say, hey, I have this event coming up, are you interested in working it? And so most of the first ones that I did were just from her asking me. And then on Facebook, there's a couple different groups. You just search groups. I can't even remember what I put in the very beginning. But
Don't give your
vendor
group source out, because then everyone will be getting your links.
but yeah, it was like something about vendors, and there's a bunch of different groups, you know, and anyone and everyone that has any type of event that they need vendors for, they post in those, and you just comment on it, you know. Some of them, you just kind of have to look at, of course, where they are, how far you want to travel, and price wise, because some of them are fairly cheap and some of them are kind of expensive. So it just kind of depends on what you want to, where you want to go and how much you want to pay. And if you're, a lot of them you can do together with 2 or 3 people, split the cost.
I have also just put on my Facebook page, hey, does anyone have, or does anyone have any churches that they go to that are having an event coming up that maybe I could get involved with?
Yeah,
like
a lot of times churches have bazaars and
schools.
things
Hey,
like
does
that.
anyone have their kids' school having a festival coming up that they let, you know, vendors come in? I'd love to be able to showcase my products. So just even asking, and you'll get people. That's how I got a couple of church events. You can go to your Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce has a lot, just posting on social media. Even if you live in a small town, some of those small towns have like their little magazines. Because I know like Huntington County has the Huntington Tab, and there's always stuff that gets posted in those. But churches, schools, the newspaper will put it out there, and even like 21 Alive, they will post if there's like expos coming up in the area. You can search counties all around you.
So how much is the normal amount that you think is like reasonable?
Well, it kind of depends on what it is. Like the bridal events are usually more expensive, and like those, we've done them, you know, together as a team, and we've had, you know, 4 or 5 people working at a time and split those up. The one I did over this past weekend was Friday evening and Saturday. It was Friday evening from 7 to 10, and then yesterday it was from 10 to 3, and it was $50. I didn't think that was bad at all.
Especially if you're gonna sell 2 wraps, you just made your money back.
Yeah.
You want to think of it in terms of, can I make my money back? And you're going to make your money back if you follow up on those leads. So just like Steph said, if you do the event and you have to stack of leads and you never call them, you just threw your money down the toilet.
Yeah.
So you can find free events. I've done a lot of free events. There's a summer event that I do every summer at a park in a local town, and it's free. Totally free. Just go and put my table. Like, I love the free events. So you can do free all the way up to $600, $700, $800. Which are the bridal events. The bridal events are the most expensive, which is why when I have a bridal event, I'm like putting it out there, and I have several of you, because you can keep the price down.
They are fun. They're a blast. They really are. You need a lot of, and at first I thought to myself, I'm going to go to this and everyone's going to know about It Works. And I am so surprised at how many people come to the table that do not know about It Works. It's amazing. It really is.
Which just goes to prove that this is the right company at the right time, because not everyone knows about it at all. Not even 1% of the world's population even knows that It Works even exists. The only reason why you guys are aware of it is because you're a part of it. It's just like like for example, stupid example, but I'm gonna throw it out there. My next car is gonna be a white Lincoln MKZ, white. Guess what I'm seeing all over the place now? White cars everywhere, and I never saw any. I'm like, I'm gonna go white because they're so crisp and clean. That's what I want. It's on my dream board, and I freaking see them everywhere now. It's because it's what I want, and it's what it's in my head. It's what I'm dreaming of, so it's what I see. You guys just assume that everyone knows about It Works because you're a part of it, and not everyone knows. That's a huge. I'm always surprised. Yeah. Great. What's one tip you want to leave everyone about expos before we close out with Elizabeth?
Don't be afraid to do them, because like I said, I was afraid at first, but they are so much fun, and you can meet so many new people, and if you do it with someone, it kind of takes the scaredness and the pressure off of it. The first few I did with people, and the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 I've just done by myself. Mainly, one thing is just because they've not been huge events. If it's a big event, yeah, you're gonna have to do it with someone else. But the last couple ones I've done have been small, and yeah, and you get to know, the people in the booth beside you. So yeah, you make a lot of new friends. So.
Speaking of people next to you, you should always ask the people that are at the event, hey, are you doing an event anywhere coming up that maybe I can reach out to them? They might not have a Knitworks person, so you can always find an event while at an event, because those people that are having their table, they're out there doing events all the time, so ask for the.
And a lot of times, they may be interested in the It Works business because what they're doing may not be making them the money that they want, or they just may not be happy with it. So I sometimes, talk to the people that are doing that have that are other vendors too about it.
Thank you, Stephanie. Who's gonna go find an event today now?
Yeah.
Only 2 people. Okay. All right, so we're gonna close out with obviously Elizabeth. She's very, very passionate. I absolutely love her. I asked her to come because she can't. Okay, we talked about colors last month, reds. They just get right to the point. They just give it to you. Okay. I wanted her to come and just give it to you. Okay. And I love her. She is the sweetest person I've ever known. We've been friends for 4 years now. Can't believe it's been 4 years. We've traveled together. We've drove to Detroit, flown clear across the country together. And I always learn something new from her. She always gives me a little bit stronger of a backbone. And I asked her to come and talk about some of those distractions that we get in our life and those excuses that we kind of touched on some of them, like those our whys can become our excuses, and some of those false truths that come into our head that just make us second guess what it is that we're doing and why we're here. And we're getting ready to go into an amazing last part of this year, and some of you have been distracted. A lot of you have been distracted. A lot of you are getting in your own way. A lot of you are causing yourself to slow down. A lot of you could have claimed some of those double good bonuses, and you didn't because you got in your way. You put up a fence. You put up barriers. You let the fear stop you. Okay? You let your kids stop you, your husband stop you, your job stop you. Wanting to go to sleep instead of work get in your way, okay? So Elizabeth is going to come up here, and I gave her a big list of things that I have seen in this team that I feel we can work on, myself included. Okay, so she's gonna come up here and just be real with us. She's gonna really see that look on her face. That picture was not chosen by accident. I want you to really pay. What's that?
I do it.
You put it up on Facebook. It was in your. Yeah, I know. Okay, you put it out there. I'm gonna grab it. I want you guys to really pay attention to what she's saying. Some of it might come across as harsh. It's not meant to be. Not really. But it is. But it's a harsh reality. But she's gonna come from a place of love, a place of knowledge, and just take it for what it is. Find what hits your heart and soul, and then run, because this month is going to be an amazing month for us. And I think everything she's going to teach you right now is going to benefit you. So, Elizabeth, would you come join me?
Yeah.
You have a lot of stuff to go over, I know, because I gave you a big.
Gonna sit with me?
Nope. Not if you're going to. Okay. I like the spotlight. I'll sit up there. I'm not gonna lie. All right. So, I'm not. Oh yeah, I'll sit here. Hang on. So Elizabeth is off. Oh God. Go. I'm sweaty. She just gave me the look. Okay.
Are there any specific people that are brave enough to tell me what their roadblock is right now? I promise you, I won't be mean. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have twin grandbabies and I want to spend my time with them all the time.
And how do you have like them 24 hours a day or?
No, but I work full time. I'm a teacher.
So 8 hours a day as a teacher?
Yeah, and then I want to go spend the time with them. I have a hard time because I want to go do this, but it's the first thing I want to do when I leave work is go spend time with them.
And how old are they?
They're 17 months.
Okay. All right, so this is what I'm going to say to you. Okay. I'm going to tell you through my story. Okay. When I got started in the business, I was working 70 hours a week, and I had a 10-hour commute a week. So that's about between 75 and 80 hours a week I was on the road. I was married at the time, had a daughter who was a senior in high school, and a boy who was in junior high, all of which were in FFA, basketball, baseball, you name it, the whole thing. They're all things that we do in our life because of the people that we love. And when you work a job, that job tells you when you have to be there. When you have the freedom to not have to work a job, you can decide for yourself. Okay. So it's not about you not working. It's about you making the decision whether you want someone to own your time so that they can tell you they have to be there for 8 hours a day. Imagine how much time you could spend with your grandbabies when they're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you didn't have to work an 8-hour job every day. So that's where you need to focus. So we're talking about, they use the word, S word, sacrifice. I'm going to tell you, you need to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, invest in your business, and invest in your grandbaby's future. Because wouldn't you want to spend oodles of time with them? I'm not talking about 2 hours after work. I'm talking about days and weeks. When their parents have to work, you get to be the person who gets to love on them. Okay? And that's really why many people do the business eventually, because after a while, it's not really about the money. And the money, you guys, you got to understand, the money is there, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Once you get, you know, your house paid for or whatever, you can choose what you do. My personal reason for doing this business and continuing to do this business is for the freedom of choice that it provides me. And that's what you're looking for probably, is the freedom of choice to be able to do with your time what you want. Because you want the time with those babies.
Well, I'm a teacher, so I know the summer I'll have all kinds of time, so I don't want, I'm afraid, because
What's your
I have to
fear?
go on a retreat, so I have to get my butt in here.
Yeah, what's your fear?
So,
She wants to go on our retreat in August.
yeah, so I have to get it together, so.
What's the thing for your retreat?
We're doing a double diamond retreat, and anyone who wants to have a spot in the house that's rented they have to be paid as a double diamond by August 31st.
So I have to get it together, so I have all summer to do that. So, but I'm scared because I love my
You don't have all
grandchildren.
summer, girlfriend.
Yeah,
It starts today.
I know,
It's today.
I know. I'm just saying that I don't want to end up making I know myself, and that I'll have all this free time because I won't be in school, and I'll want to spend it with the grandchildren. And I'm trying to get myself motivated, and that helps. I mean, what you said helps, but I'm just saying that's just where I'm at. It's just, I hate missing that time with these little teeny babies.
Okay, so everybody think of their excuse. And babies are not an excuse,
You're not
but it is,
gonna hurt
but
my
it is the
feelings.
choice. It is the choice. It is the excuse. So everybody think of theirs. Think about it. You have to choose, girl. You have to choose. The less pain now or the big pain later. You will have pain. Do you want the pain to be drawn out, or do you want to really bust your butt and make it like no sleep, balls to the walls, do it and get it done? Because once you get to diamond, to double, to triple, and those money trees are popping up in your backyard, life changes. Okay? You're not working 8-hour day jobs. You're not. I mean, some people still do, but why? I don't know. So, but understand that duration, that pain, you are going to have pain in your life all your life. It's just the people who continue to work at the same pace or work at a job for, you know, another 10, 20, 30 years. It's just elongated little pain. So it's like having a toothache for 30 years. Let's just go to the dentist and get it pulled today. No Novocaine. Get the sucker out. You know what I mean? Get it done. Why? Because after the tooth is out, you don't have any more headache. You don't have any more toothache. It doesn't last 20, 30 years. there's a program that Lisa Fuller, Upline Ambassador Diamond, did. I think that some of the people in this room, at least I know some of the people on my team did as well. I think some of you did. The D2D group, Destination to Diamond group. Huge, huge shift in a lot of people's mindset and a lot of people's business, because it kept you accountable for your business. One of my girls, Heather, I don't call her and ask her what she does every day. I'm not her boss. I used to be her babysitter. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
She didn't ask me what I was doing that either.
I didn't ask her what she was doing then. Just made sure she was breathing. If you're hungry, you're breathing. No, really. It's really about being able to make sure that when you work with people, you are teaching them, like what Sandy's saying, you train them well. Okay? So let's talk about some of the stupid things that we do as distributors. I've done a lot of these things, so I can tell you they're stupid. And they're stupid. Don't ever pay somebody's $99 distributor kit for them. Don't ever do it. They will never work for it. Don't ever give somebody all 4 loyal customers, unless they already have loyal customers and they're building underneath a distributor and you're going for a promotion. And it's key. Okay? Don't ever tell a brand new person they have 30 days to get their 4 loyal customers. Why? Because they will hear 30.
Brad,
okay.
You got 2 more days.
Okay?
Go, Brad.
When people come into my business, I tell them, on average, my team gets their 4 loyal customers within the first 5 to 7 days. Why? Because they think 5 to 7. Someone up here said, oh, crap, I got to get my loyals. I got to get my loyals. I got to get my loyals. Someone told her. Was it someone?
Yeah, I saw my feed 3 to 5.
Yeah. Some of the other really stupid things that we've done on top of lost leads, like I've lost leads before because I've lost slips of paper. Or I'll just be like so unorganized because you get home from something and you forget where you put stuff. Or you don't have an organizational system. I mean, like, there's chaos in your house because, you know, you're doing a business and you're a mom or a dad, or you're working together, husband and wife, and it creates chaos, which wastes time. Have you ever had chaos and you're like looking for something? Like, I know my banner is someplace in the house. How can I not know where it's at? And then you look for 3 hours. Create your system. I am not really organized. I'm not green, Trisha. I'm really not green. Okay, I am red.
I know you are red.
I have 0 green. I really, really need an assistant that would live in with me and organize everything, because I like to delegate. That's another thing that I will tell you that you can be successful at, is delegating. But sometimes as a leader, we delegate to people and we don't follow up. So we say to somebody, can you take care of this? And then they never do it. And then we end up having to pick up the pieces and clean it up. So one of the things never to do is to give responsibility away and not follow up. And that's hard sometimes. But when you delegate it away and they don't do it, then they're really telling you who they are. That's another thing, is don't listen to what people say, watch what they do. If you listen to what people say, they can talk to you. I mean, they can tell you anything that they want. But the rubber meets the road on the action. You know, what they do is what's going to make the business grow. What they say is eating your time. So sometimes there's another thing not to do, and some people have to learn the hard way. And I know there's someone here we've been talking about this lesson, is that sometimes there are people in your business that literally eat your time, and they absolutely don't create anything in positive forward motion. So I look at people as buckets, okay? Some buckets, when you come into their life, you can put 2 or 3 drops in that bucket and the water just is overflowing. For whatever reason, God has blessed them. they're in a great spiritual place, they have great abundance in their life. They can ask people if they'd like to join their team, and 6 people say yes. They can say one thing on Facebook and 6 loyals come in. They have a rat party, they rat 6 people, they get, we all have people like that. Their bucket, guys, was almost full when you dropped a drop of water in. Those people are out there. Sometimes you have to pour into a person a little bit. You have to give them some personal development, help them with some skills, but you keep dripping in the bucket, but you can see that the bucket keeps getting higher and higher and higher, and you know that it's going to spill over, and you know that they're going to have that abundance, okay? And then there's that one kind of bucket that we start dripping in, and we're not seeing any water build up in the bottom, so we keep dropping it in, and there's still no water. And then some of us do this, and this is the no-no. Some of us take all of our bucket and all of our time and keep dumping loads of water in that bucket. And guess what? When you pick up that bucket, there's no bottom to it. That person, nothing is sticking with them. But they eat your time. Let them grow up and personally develop and invest in themselves to get themselves the bottom of the bucket before you go and spend a whole bunch of time with them. Why? Because you've got these other buckets over here that you would be more well served to pour into. Would you not agree that you would be wiser to look for buckets that are almost full? Okay, how many of you would like to have more buckets that are almost full? How many would you like? Seriously, how many would you like?
All of them.
Never ending supply.
Never
Yes,
ending.
but how many really do you need? 2. Okay, now let me be honest with you. How many are you guys are on your knees praying, asking for 2? Is anybody pouring into their business spiritually and letting God own your business? Because maybe you should. If you want abundance in your life, whatever your spiritual, whatever it is, then that better be a part of it. If you only need 2, then pray for 2. If you want more than 2, have more than 2. I'd say go for 2, and then once you get your 2, then pray for 2 more. You know? But when they show up, by golly, you better be grateful and pour into them. And they may show up in very unusual ways when you start praying, okay? Because they just sometimes will come out of nowhere, and it will just be, one of those things you're like, holy cow. I'll tell you a story. Holly Dessert, Leisure, if you're watching right now. One of my gals that I've known since I was 20-some years old. She was a sorority sister of mine. And she's been pouring into her business and pouring into her business and pouring into her business and pouring into her business. And we've been working it, and she's down in Atlanta. Well, holy cats. In the past 60 days, my gosh, her business has exploded. Exploded. Every week, she's getting multiple fast start bonuses. Personally, all these people are finally clicking in. And before, the people that she was signing were the empty buckets. And, I said to her, Holly, don't do any more. Don't pour any more into this person. And this is the problem, is that when you don't have a whole lot of people, you keep pouring into the empty bucket because you think the empty bucket is going to fill up. How many of you guys have done that? Okay. What you need to do is say, okay, to the bucket, let's personally develop, have them do something. If they don't do it, okay, send them the motivational book, link, send them to, tell them these where the trainings are, tell them you'll help them with parties or, online party, whatever. And if they don't do any of that, shame on them. That's their responsibility. You're not there to build their business. How many of you guys had somebody else force you to do the business? No one? How many of you decided yourself to do it? Okay, it's not anybody was like chained, hand to the computer to have to do it. We all volunteered to do it. So when people choose not to do the right things, that is their choice. You don't have to rectify their mistake. It's their choice. So when you got somebody who is like that empty bucket and you give them directions and they don't do it, make the choice for your business to go a different direction. Get on your knees and pray and ask for the person who's almost the full bucket. Okay? And when you do that and you're diligent about it, you would be surprised how quickly it builds. When you have people that are like the bucket over here, okay, it is very important that this bucket does not influence the other buckets. How many of you guys have had somebody that is over here in this bucket that has started to influence these other buckets? Yeah. How's that working? Is that a mistake? Okay. So is the person who is the empty bucket who you've been giving stuff to, is that the person that you want behind the table at the expo or in front of the table at the expo? What's the answer?
No.
Okay. No, no. But you want the person who has the overflowing bucket, who's positive, and the person who's growing and their bucket is filling up. Those are the people that you want. Okay, so let's talk about the 80-20 rule. Most people spend 20% of their time, okay, with 80% of their people. And it really should be the opposite way. We should be spending 80% of our time with 20% of the people. Because 20% is proven over and over again in organizations. If you work with 20% of your people that are doing the right thing, they will go out and they will grow the business exponentially. Somebody's shaking their head. Are you living this?
No.
She asked if I was dying.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm good.
No, she's all right.
Okay. All right.
She said, no, she's not dying.
So the 80-20 rule, that 20%, guys, that 20% of people that are paying attention, I can guarantee you, and this is probably true with you, that 20% creates 80% of your paycheck.
Yes,
Did you hear that?
I agree.
That 20% of people creates 80% of your paycheck. So why do we think that we need to be spending 80% of our time with all this 80% of the people? It's just so backwards. We really need to be spending a majority of our time with the people that are paying attention, that are doing the right thing, not convincing someone else how great this is. Someone, I think you were saying that you like to convince people.
Oh, I like rejection.
You like rejection.
I like getting the no's.
No can be good, because sometimes a no person has had experience in business and they've got some street knowledge, but I never go into convince mode. Because how many of you guys have ever had to convince anybody to sign up as a distributor or to convince somebody to sign up as a loyal customer? There should be some hands in here.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit it.
Yeah. How did that work
Early
out?
on, they're not here anymore.
How did that work out?
Yeah, she's not around.
Mine's not around
And
either.
her people aren't around because she wasn't really into
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, I have an entire leg that I tried to convince her, well, obviously I convinced her to sign up. An entire leg gone.
Yeah.
I shot myself in the foot with that one. And you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it. Even though she's telling you don't do it, you're gonna do it. Just be mindful when it happens, learn from it, don't do it again. Or try to learn today and never do it.
So what I'm trying to tell you is don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't.
It slows you down.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it slows you down. And when you get into, let's say that you've done it, or you're in it now, and you're like, holy cow, how am I going to correct this? Okay? The best way to do it is to be honest. Okay? So let's say that Sandy's never this way, but let's say that Sandy is the person who is the anchor that's slowing me down. Okay? Because if you have one, okay, you don't have to admit it, but if you have someone who's slowing you down, okay, and Sandy's the person that's slowing me down, you can't just shift and not pay attention to them without them noticing, because they're gonna notice the shift, okay? So your conversation has to be what I would call the velvet hammer. It hurts, but it doesn't leave a bruise, okay? I kind of sort of velvet hammered you earlier today, okay? And it's when you do the good, bad, good. Good meaning, gosh, I love working with you. I think that you've really got a lot of potential, Sandy. But I can see that you really need to start working on yourself, because there's some things that I've been asking you to do and you haven't done them yet. And that shows me that you're not ready to work at the next level. So why don't you go work on those things? And when you finish, come back to me so that we can start working more intensively together. So I know you're ready to work on your business at the same speed that I am. So it's good, Sandy, you're doing great. I love working with you. The bad is I can notice that you haven't done some of the things that I've asked you to do. And the last part is, as soon as you get those done, then let's go back to work. And it's not really like you're being their boss, but remember, you're the enroller or the sponsor, okay? This is another mistake sometimes that we make. Every team is a little bit differently. Have you ever enrolled somebody personally and put them way down to the bottom of your group for a promotion? And have it not worked? Because the person who you moved felt bad because they were put underneath of someone that they didn't know. Sometimes it costs you your business. When I was enrolled, okay, a girl at work,
You know who she is. She's in your town.
a girl at work talked to me about the product. And she talked to me for a while. And she was very passionate. She didn't know what the heck she was doing, but she was super passionate. Took me a couple weeks to look at the product brochure. When I finally decided to look at the product brochure, I looked at the company, thought the rest was cool. I actually looked at the website, and there was a girl that I knew in one of the pictures, because I had been involved in network marketing in my 20s. So I looked at that and said, heck, if she could do that, I could do that. So then I'm like, oh, okay, if I want to do the business, if the product works. So then I go in and I call this girl from work, and she worked different shifts than I did. I was the director of marketing at a healthcare facility. So I called her up and I said, hey, I want to try that wrap thing. And I think I shocked her because I told her I hadn't looked at it for like 3 weeks in a row. I said, but I got to do it today. I got time today. Can I do it during my lunch hour? So she scrambled around and found somebody that I could wrap with. I went and I wrapped, and I told the girl, okay, I'm just telling you this in case you have anybody tell you this. I'm telling you how to recognize a red. When I went over there, I wrapped. I saw a little bit of difference in my skin. But I told the girl, I'm going to get a box of wraps, but I'm going to make a decision in the next 24 to 48 hours whether I want to be a loyal or a distributor. You just sell me a box of wraps so that I can keep wrapping. I want my husband to try this. And she goes, she's smart enough to say, okay. So I gave her cash. I said, you know what, if you want my address or anything, I'll be good for it. I'm going to fill out the paperwork. I'm just telling you that I'm going to do one or the other, but I need to convince myself. So she let me buy a box of wraps. I went home, wrapped my husband at the time. He said, oh my gosh, that's great. Then I went back to the girl and said, I'm going to get signed up. But, this other person at work is the one who I met with. So that girl at work gave me her website to go get signed up. So I went and I got signed up, okay? And as soon as I got signed up, she got an email that said, oh, you have this new person that signed up, okay? And the girl at work never asked me why I signed up. She never asked me my background experience and never asked me my goals. She just said, oh, I got someone who signed up and I'm running for the next promotion, Double Diamond. Let me put her underneath of someone else. So she put me underneath of someone in her organization that was doing nothing to try to get them motivated to do something. So when I looked at my e-suite the next day, my sponsor, I'm like, who the heck is that? Who is that person? And so I sent a message to the girl that I signed up with and I said, who is this person that you put me under? Oh, we do that all the time. And I almost said I'm not doing it. Almost. Because my loyalty was to her. Even though I knew she didn't know what she was doing, my loyalty was to her. My loyalty was not to this other person. And the way that they made it sound like I was going to work with this team, and I knew how that worked. I was going to work with whoever had time to work with me. It could have been this new person that I didn't know in the computer, or it could be this other girl at work who didn't know what she was doing, but she was a diamond, you know. But what ended up happening is that I was persistent in asking the questions, and I asked so many questions about the marketing plan that I finally got to the person who could show me what the real deal was. And when I sat down with them, I knew what I had my hands on. And then it didn't matter to me who my sponsor was or who it was that was my enroller. But guys, Reds hate to be put underneath of somebody for structure. If that girl would have asked me what my goal was and my background, she would have known that I had 100 or 1,500 people in an organization when I was in my 20s. I had 14 offices in network marketing, that I really wanted to look at this as a way to replace my work. But she never asked me the questions. And I wonder if she would have placed me differently and if she would have, you know, if that would have happened. The bottom line is this, is that you better interview your people. When you have a distributor, if they're, you know, has anybody ever gone into their eSuite report and you've got a distributor that just signs up out of nowhere? If it hasn't happened to you, it will. I know you've had it happen to you. And you have to call them up and ask them.
And you have to have a conversation, because placement is key. I want you guys to understand placement is key, but if you're gonna do it, you have to have that conversation with the person that's involved, that you're signing, and then you have to talk to the people that you're gonna place with. Because you have to say, one, are you ready to be a leader and to step in? And two, you have to make sure that you're introducing so that they can build that relationship. Because I agree with you. We're going to agree to disagree in this area slightly, because I believe that you can still place smart, but you have to have conversations.
Yeah.
And you have to introduce people, and you have to let people know that, listen, yes, placement is key, but I'm going to make sure that you do know the people that you're going to be working with. So you have to say, hey, I'm going to place you with this team. Like Brad, you just joined my team. I said, I'm going to team you up on my husband's team. So Brad goes to his, and he sees my husband's name and he sees my name. So he knows that he's got me and my husband.
And you had that conversation. But
I had those conversations. You can't just, like, Elizabeth was just plopped there with no conversation. So I want to make sure you guys understand what she's saying. She was placed there without any conversation at all. Bad move. Bad move. We are going to have people sign, whether we're assigning them personally or they pop in on our website like Elizabeth did, but make sure that you are having that communication. And yes, they're going to be like, now why was I placed here? And you're going to say, because we are building a team together. I'm going to give you the information you need so that you can be successful, because this is your business and I'm going to be here to work with you. But you're also going to have a couple of other people too that you're going to have an opportunity to turn to for help and support, because I might not always be available because I am busy. And the more your team grows, Trisha knows this, your team, you're triple diamond bound. You got a huge team, so you're relying on that layered leadership of people to step in and help. You're a triple diamond eventually going towards, I think you're working towards presidential now, right? So you know that you've got to have that layered leadership. So when you're placing, I'm sure you're having those conversations.
That's right.
Okay, you're joining my team. We work together as a team. I'm going to place you on a team, and we're all going to work together, but I'm going to introduce you first. Like, you have those,
that's right.
You have to have those conversations. Candy, when Candy joined, perfect example. Candy joined, I said, awesome, we are going to team you up, but I'm going to make sure that you know these girls. And we do an introduction, and I have everyone introduce each other. They exchange the numbers. They know each other. And there's that constant conversation going every day. But I just didn't say, oh, yay, Candy joined the team, place her somewhere, never tell her who these people were, ever. You can't do that. Yeah. Somebody will quit.
Did anybody else have that happen to them?
Line either. I mean, like, you have
yeah, and I don't play, I'm not like 100 wide. I mean, that doesn't make sense. I mean, there is a method to the madness of structure, but you have to talk to people.
Yeah.
You have to give them that
trust. And it's trust.
Yeah.
Because I lost trust for that girl when that happened. One of the other objections I want to bring up, because I think that I've heard this. I heard this from a girl yesterday. I knew that probably people are thinking this too. One of the objections that I hear is that it's just a too much thing. I'm too skinny to do this. I'm too fat to do this. I'm too old to do this. I'm a man. I'm whatever. Whatever you think is true is true for you. Okay? I went to, I think it was a very first conference. And I remember saying to my husband, did you notice that woman behind her? And he goes, no. I said, you need to turn around and look at her badge. Okay? And he turned around and looked at her badge. And then he turned around and goes, oh my gosh, I know. And this is the long and short of it. I had a preconceived notion in my head. Okay? A very bad preconceived notion. And this is before I knew really a lot about how the company worked. I hadn't met everybody like the Rusty Lackeys and those guys who deal with health issues. Rusty Lackey is a really amazing man who's an amazing transformation inside. But there was a woman who was behind me that I made a mental judgment that she probably could not sell wraps because she was spread out between two chairs and she had a walker and she couldn't walk. And I'm thinking to myself, how could she sell wraps? How, you know what I mean? In my mind, I was thinking that. And the thing is, guys, you got to understand, I was no skinny mini and I'm no skinny mini now. I like my curves, but the bottom line is this, is that there definitely are people who come in who look at the wraps and say, I can't do this because of whatever X may be. Too big, too small, too wide, too tall. I'm a man, I'm a woman, whatever it is. They make the excuse. Whatever they believe is their truth. If you don't think that you can sell wraps, then get into the nutrition. Right now, I mean, I've been advertising wraps all over the place, but you know what people are buying from me? Skincare. Heather, why did you join the business?
Because you were my babysitter and you looked younger than me.
You saw my face. That's correct. Diane, what did you say to me today?
Every time I see you, you look like younger.
I am the skincare. It's about the skincare. That's what I sell. Even though I advertise the cleanse, the oils, the wraps, I am selling the skincare. That's just, everybody will have a different product. You know, there's some guys who are uncomfortable for wrapping people. That's your uncomfortableness. If you go in to wrap a girl or a guy, your level of comfort will determine the outcome of that interaction. It's your truth. Whatever your truth is going to happen. If you're comfortable with it, then you're comfortable with it. If you're not, then you're going to feel it. You know?
What was the rank? What was the coach rank?
She was a triple. Yeah, and she was a top 100 money earner. She had all these little banner things. Top 100 money earner, she was a triple diamond. I just went, oh, my God. You know. And I
So
just,
that was your like aha, like don't prejudge anybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a totally like a slap in the face for me. Do not prejudge.
Yeah.
Totally do
And
not
at one
prejudge.
point or another, we've probably all done it, and we shouldn't, because anyone can do this business. It's a business.
Yeah.
Businesses don't judge. Businesses aren't prejudiced on who's going to be successful,
That's right.
because your success is dependent on your hard work, not the way you look
That's right.
at all.
That's right. And there was a gal that I met at a training in Chicago a couple of months ago who, she had beautiful, beautiful skin. I mean, beautiful skin. And they were doing some product testimonies, and they did it before and after. And she had cystic acne so bad in her before picture, she almost didn't look like the same person. And she said, I didn't feel comfortable working with a company that had skincare because I knew that I couldn't represent it. And the person who signed her up said, well, then great, that's what your product story is going to be. So use whatever you think is your weakness as your strength and lean into it and become a product of the product. Why do you think my skin is different? Because I religiously use the product all the time, the skincare. I'm addicted to the skincare. Addicted. What's in my auto ship? All skincare, all the time. Why? Because
works.
It works. It does.
Not a bad business name, right?
Yeah.
It works.
You know? But there are people that are my age that are like, you don't look 50. You don't act 50. I'm like, yeah, I like that. You know?
Keep telling me that.
So even if you're not at 50, use the skincare and you'll never look like you're 50. All right, so let me turn the other to Let me give you an example. Close it out with this. Have any of you guys? Do any of you know that when a lobster is growing, the lobster takes its shell comes off a couple different times? Okay. You know the story you're looking at, like you know. No. Okay. Okay, so what happens is, a lobster grows inside of his shell and, he's an exoskeleton, so he doesn't have any bones. So the only thing that protects him is that, the shell that he has. And at some point, that lobster has to make a decision because it gets uncomfortable. He grows to the point where it's like, it's uncomfortable for him. So he has to make a decision to go underneath of a rock and get rid of the shell. He literally sheds the shell and he grows another one. And the next one is bigger than the first one. Okay? But what moved him to make the decision to go underneath of the rocks to empty the shell out to grow a new one was it was uncomfortable. His uncomfortableness prompted the growth underneath the rocks. In order for you to grow, are you uncomfortable with where you're at? Or are you telling yourself, I'm okay with where I'm at? If you're okay with where you're at and you're comfortable, then don't go under the rock. Don't shed your shell because you're not there. When you get to the point of being uncomfortable, you'll know it. I remember when you were uncomfortable. There was a time that was a big thing for Sandy. We were at a training in Atlanta.
We just talked about that last night.
Yeah, we were at a training in Atlanta. Mark did this video, I think it was in May. Was it not in May? Was it May, June-ish?
May.
And there was this video that they put up of the death crawl. What is it called? Chasing the Giant? What is that one? The Christian movie, something the Giant. Beating the Giants?
Facing the Giants.
Facing the Giants. If you haven't watched that one, go home, look at YouTube. Facing the Giants, and the scene that you need to watch is the death crawl. So Mark Pentecost puts up the death crawl. I'm sitting there watching it, and you gotta understand, I'm really connected with this because my dad was a football coach. And I saw my dad in that coach, and I saw myself as this football player who was doing the death crawl. And so my heart's going like this, and I'm like, and I had just quit my job. And Sandy was still working her, and I would always rib her. I'd send her a message, oh, yeah, I quit my job. Yeah, last week. And we would always be like, oh, Sandy, did you tell your boss yet? And she'd go, no, I'm going to. And so finally, after we saw this video, she grabs me, and she's crying, and she's shaking. And guess what? She got to the point of being so uncomfortable where she was at, she decided she had to grow a new shell. That was your shell thing, right there.
It was that day was really, really uncomfortable. I was pumped because Cindy Pentecost was out. It was like I was on a high because Cindy was out there dancing with all of us. We were out dancing on the floor. We were just having a hoot of a day. And Mark did what he does best. He inspires us beyond any mind way that you would ever think that you could ever be inspired. He does this speech, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm going to go home. I'm on this high. I'm going to grow my team. I'm like, my bucket is overflowing. And then he does this speech, and this video comes out. And I'm like, why are we watching? I honestly didn't know what this was going to do for me. And I watched it, And I felt, it was literally from the bottom of my toes, and it just worked its way all the way up. And I got these, like, I was shaking, I had the goosebumps, I was just like, and then I started crying, and I grabbed her, and I remember I grabbed you, and I pulled her clear off to the side, and I just broke. And I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I'm supposed to be. I know my vision. I have to quit my job. I went back to work that Monday and put in my notice and walked away. And shortly after that, I went triple presidential. Within a year. Quick. Like, it was the most uncomfortable thing. And then I had to go back to work and walk away from something that was guaranteed. I knew that I could walk in and punch the time card. I knew that twice a month I'd get paid $1,300. I knew I had $2,300 coming in every month. I knew that.
And you were a double diamond.
I was a double diamond, and I knew that I at least had my State Farm, $2,300 a month. I knew that was coming in. I knew it was guaranteed. All I had to do was show up and put my butt in a seat and sit behind a cubicle for 8 hours. There was no question. I never had to wonder until I saw the video, and then I was like.
So neither of us is advocating quit your job. I think what we're advocating is get yourself to a place where you are uncomfortable, because that is where you're going to grow. And you won't grow if you don't push yourself to being uncomfortable. And you know what? It may not be that okay, so I'll say this. You're going to cry. There's some people are in this business and will know them forever. You know what I mean? Sandy and I have been in this. There's been a lot of people, sister, that have come and gone in the river between you and I.
Time Hop reminds me how many people have come and gone.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the 4 years that we've known each other. You know what I mean? It's like a tornado. There are times, and you're like, shoot, I don't even remember that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. The only thing that matters, whether you stay or you go, is your focus. I'm going to tell you this. If your journey is to stay, then stay and stay planted. If your journey is to go, then take the very best part of what you learned here, these trainings, this company, what we do, and take it someplace else. And pour into lives someplace else, whether it's back at your job or whatever. Not everybody is going to be here for life, and that's okay. But if you are here for a long period of time and you learn things, then take those things back out into the world, because we learn really incredible things here. Really great things. Go pour into someone else. And once you get to your levels, your emeralds, your diamond, your double, your triple, your presidentials, for us, it's really about pouring back in, is it not? It's about pouring back into the people that are on our team. That's the good thing to do. But remember, when you're pouring in, what bucket you're pouring into, guys. Be careful what you do with your time. Be careful what you do with your energy. Be careful what you do with your planning in your day and who you count on. So when you're putting together your structures, you know, you don't want to have to be worrying about someone 6 levels below you in order for their executive to be placed, and you don't know if they're going to run their auto shift. Let's count on somebody that you can do that. So get to the point where you're your lobster, you are ready to shed the shell, and then figure out what, you know, place you're going to go. You may have to go underneath of a rock for a little bit and get yourself clear. Because it probably, you took your flight home, you were nervous to tell Chad.
Oh.
There was like a whole lot of, she was underneath the rock for a little bit shaking.
Oh yeah, because he had told me, because I had been a double diamond for a while, and he had told me, you have to be consistently bringing in this amount of money for this amount of time before we can even discuss you walking away from a sure thing. And I don't know that I was at that 6-month mark when we went and that happened.
You had it for a few months, but not 6.
Yeah, and I got home and Chad and I went to dinner, and I was just like, I had to have been glowing, like literally, but I was shaking at the same time, and we're at Buffalo Wild Wings talking, and I'm just like, and I'm like, just like like 100 miles an hour freight train telling him everything that happened there. And I remember because he sat back and he goes like this, I know you're just waiting for me to tell you to quit, so do it. And I'm like, not even gonna say it, are you sure? Not even gonna, because he said, do it. So I went to work on Monday and I was scared. I remember being on the phone with you and your ex and I was like, I'm really scared. And you guys were like, I said, I can't do it because it's his birthday today and then it's Labor Day weekend and blah, blah, blah. I had so many excuses. Chad had given me the go to quit my job. He'd given me the go. I was ready. Mark had me fired up. And then I was like, oh, well, it's my boss's birthday.
Well, she did tell me that one day. I can't tell him I'm quitting. Oh, yeah, I can't tell him I'm quitting because it's his birthday today. And did we give you crap back?
Oh my gosh, they had me on speaker and they're like, oh, it's his birthday. Well, let's wait till Monday. Oh, well, wait, it's Monday. You can't. It's a holiday. Oh, well, it's the next week. Like in that, like that voice, she was doing that. Oh, and then her ex was like, oh, now it's the next month. Like they were just going on. I'm like, fine. I hung up and I was like, Kat, I need to talk to you. Shaking, sweating. I shut the door and he goes, I know what's coming. And I'm like, if I don't do this, I'm always gonna wonder if I could have. And I told him, I said, you have been amazing. You've helped me grow into somebody I never knew that I could be. But if I don't try this, I will never know. I went to Vegas and never looked back. We did. I took my last 2 weeks, took my mother-in-law to Vegas, and I haven't looked back. I've never regretted it. It was the scariest moment in my entire life. Scarier than joining and not paying a bill to join, scarier than talking to people about joining this business, about trying a product. The scariest thing was walking away from a sure thing and taking a leap of faith on myself and my team. Because I couldn't continue to be doing what I'm doing without all of you. I mean, I could say, yeah, I want to do this, but I didn't have an amazing team and made amazing friends in this business. It's all for naught.
You mind if we close with prayer? All right. Join hands for next year. Father, I want to thank you for this day and for all the information that was given. Lord, I ask that you take the seed that was planted and you help it grow. And Father, I ask that you make those shells feel uncomfortable, that you make people understand that staying in the same size shell doesn't honor you, it doesn't honor their purpose, and it certainly does not give them the ability to expand as a person. And so, Father, if people are ready for their shells to come off, that you will just continue to prompt them until, like Sandy, they get so uncomfortable that they know that it's time. So, Father, go forward and bless us. Give us an incredible month. Let us be focused on the steps to success, doing the simple things, not complicated, and really be real with ourselves so that we don't make the excuses, so that we look at ourselves in the mirror and go, it's got to happen and it's my job and it's up to me and I'm going to do it, and not to accept our own excuses. So, Father, guard us, protect us, give us the helmet over our head, protect our minds, the shield of faith, sword of the Spirit, shoes of peace. That whole armor of God just cover us, Lord, so that we can go out and, Father, that we can just be a light into the world with our business or whatever it is that we're doing, Father, that we would just bring people to us. Let us be a magnet to encourage people into our business, and to help the people with the products that need it. In your name I pray. Amen.
Wow, she knows how to close it out. Does anyone have any questions for her? Because we're going to do some time. Ask away while I close this out.